Look around. Does anyone see it? Look around. Does anyone see it? Look at the streets, look at the screens, it's a wild ride. Too much noise, too much static on the flip side. People moving fast, but they're losing their way. Gotta cut through the fog of the modern day. Snowboard Joe on the edge of the peak, looking for the truth that the politicians hide and seek. They're selling the solutions wrapped in digital gold, while the warmth of the culture is growing so cold. We're staring at the static, forgetting how to feel. Trapped inside a loop where nothing stays real. The pressure is rising, the rhythm is tight. We need the disruption to clear up the night. The 303 scream and it's time to awake. How much more of this mess can the people take? Why are things so messed up? Tell me, why are things so messed up? Everything is so messed up. Yeah, everything is so messed up. But we aren't dropping down, we aren't giving in. Grab your board, grip the edge, let the push begin. The 303 hits like a shot to the chest. We're waking up the crowd, putting courage to the test. Out on the slopes or deep in the town, we're building up a groove that they can't tear down. They want us divided, they want us confused, leaving every good soul battered and bruised. But the rhythm is a weapon when the truth is the track. We're dropping the beat and we're fighting right back. The pressure is rising, the rhythm is tight. We need the disruption to clear up the night. The 303 scream and it's time to awake. How much more of this mess can the people take? You have to carve a circle of good and defend it. Don't just watch it burn. You have to carve a circle of good and defend it. When the world goes crazy, you stand your ground. Brothers unite and defend good. Brothers unite and defend good. Why are things so messed up?
Everything is so messed up. Brothers unite.
Why are things so messed up?
Everything is so messed up.
Brothers unite and defend good. Carve that circle. Hold the line. Brothers unite, defend the good. Why are things so messed up?
We defend the good.
So another banger created by Evil Eddie, and I would say it's a
This is a certified hood classic.
certified hood classic. Put a 1 if that sound played. I don't know if I have to change the settings again. And then we'll get into what I want to get into here. I found this channel called Women of Malice. And it's, I thought that some of these videos are pretty good. This one, I haven't seen this. I only watched like one of them, but it says college teen smiles in court, blames a fake intruder, then the phone calls play like in court. Yep, that was another Evil Eddie song. So, I think one of the problems that we're having in America is we have a sympdemic, which we've had that for a while, but part of the DNA of that problem is that we view women as so innocent to the point where we just don't equally hold them accountable, and that isn't a society that can have any stability. you need certain values and guiding principles, virtues, similar to the Ten Commandments and stuff like that. Those are like the two train tracks, the rails that keep society kind of organized and going together. And a lot of that has to do with guilt, shame, fear of getting in trouble, fear of being hurt, um, having a certain level of class, having a certain morality, having a soul, not having Tylenol brain, all those type of things. And what we're seeing is a much more vapid and narcissistic, and frankly, it's going to be start to be evil. Um, and we're not, we call men like, oh, there's this BTK killer and all these other people. It's like, well, there are some women who are doing that too, massacring their own family and everything like that. But we never really talk about it much. So these are some examples of some newer ones, and we're going to just show how narcissistic they're willing to be for their own vanity.
Courtroom with a faint smile, adjusting her hair and speaking quietly
Look at
with her
this,
legal
it's
team,
smiling.
presenting a demeanor that completely contrasts with the gravity of the situation she is facing. This is Sydney Powell, a young woman who convinced herself that a jury would understand her actions, while the prosecution prepared to
Yeah.
present a case that would challenge everything the public thought they knew about family dynamics.
Well, it's also like how hard they're willing to lie and believe a lie. There's been so many times where we've seen women like do something on a camera, get caught on a camera, then you show them the footage of them being caught on the camera to their face, and they still say that's like not them or that didn't happen. It's shit like that, which is it's really, 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 really crazy.
Hidden realities, and the extreme lengths a person might go to in order to keep a secret concealed.
Where's your mom at? Okay, stay right here.
The back window's broken in!
So you're gonna have to. There's officers inside there, so
I don't know. There
go
was
check
so
the
much
lady in the
blood.
house. Okay.
My doctor called me back and said, "Oh, mom's on the phone with Mount Union." I said, "Well, cops are on the way." And she went, "There's been a break-in," and she just started going off. She said, "What?" She said, "There's been somebody broke into the house. There's blood everywhere."
The timeline of this tragic case begins on the seemingly ordinary morning of March 3rd, 2020. Steve Powell was at his workplace at a steel treating company in Akron, Ohio, going about his regular routine. During his shift, he attempted to log into a university parent portal to pay his daughter Sydney's college tuition, but the system repeatedly declined his access. Confused by the technical issue, Steve contacted the University of Mount Union directly to resolve the payment, only to receive a confusing update from the
She
administration.
probably took all the money and nigged it for herself. So this is a little bit of Tylenol brain here, black-eyed nihilist. I don't know what she did. She probably deleted her own mother. But we're gonna watch a few of these from Women of Malice today, and I'm sure that will spike some organic conversations about how detached they can be.
His daughter was no longer an enrolled student. Trying to make sense of this information, Steve immediately opened the Life 360 family tracking application on his phone to locate Sydney,
Life 304 app.
expecting her to be on the college campus. Instead, the application indicated that her phone was located at their family home in Akron. Steve immediately drove back to the house to check on her. Upon his arrival, he found Sydney there and asked her about the university's claim. Sydney calmly provided a logical explanation, stating there was simply an administrative mix-up regarding her registration, and that she would contact the school to sort it out. Satisfied that it was merely a clerical error, Steve contacted his wife, Brenda Powell, a highly respected and beloved child life specialist at Akron Children's Hospital. He updated Brenda on the portal issue and Sydney's explanation before returning to his workplace, believing the situation was under control. However, Brenda decided to follow up on the matter herself. She reached out to the university and left a voicemail for the administrative staff. At 12:36 p.m., Associate Dean Michelle Gaffney and Dean of Students John Frazier returned Brenda's call. As Dean Frazier began to introduce himself over the phone, the conversation was abruptly interrupted. The university officials reported hearing series of loud, heavy impacts, accompanied by signs of severe distress. After the unsettling noises ceased, the line remained open but silent. The officials repeatedly called out to Brenda, receiving no response, until a female voice finally picked up the phone. When the dean asked if he was speaking to Brenda, the voice calmly replied in the affirmative. However, having spoken to Sydney previously, the university officials immediately recognized that the voice on the line belonged to the daughter, not the mother.
Oh, she looks like a straight up autistic antidepressant killer. This isn't the one that I meant to play actually, but we'll just let it ride anyways. Hey, look, I paused it and it's 333 and 1717.
Realizing something was terribly wrong, the officials immediately disconnected and requested local law enforcement to request an urgent welfare check at the Powell residence. When police officers arrived at the home, they encountered a chaotic and distressing scene. The front door was locked, forcing an officer to move toward the back of the property, where he discovered a broken window and heard screaming coming from inside. Upon making entry, officers found Sydney in a highly agitated state on the ground, directing their attention to her mother.
For the in front of 50 Connor. Fire.
I can hear her screaming in there. Front door's locked.
Roger that. Affirmative.
Hacker police! Hacker police! Where's your mom at? Okay, stay right here.
No, there's so much blood. No, please.
She's saying no, don't go help her mom.
Man,
Never. Take her.
No! No!
stop.
Oh, we gotta figure out what's going on.
She was really helpful, huh?
Can you sit down? Can you sit down?
Car 9, get that 32 rolling here quick. We got a female down, blood all over the place. Start some more units, we got a crime scene. Taking her out to the
I didn't notice that, but probably that's what that idiot did. This isn't the one I thought it was. One of them, there was one where she which we'll watch next. She was like an influencer, but she was like high on ketamine and all these drugs and killed like 3 people and just got out of her car and started like walking away. But then when cops found her, she pretended that she like saw aliens and shit like that.
side.
Brenda had sustained extensive and fatal physical injuries. Sydney immediately began telling the responding officers a frantic narrative, claiming that an unknown intruder had broken through the back window, assaulted
She probably said it was a black guy too.
her mother, and fled the scene.
Come on. Come on.
Is she gonna be okay?
Come on.
I
Come on. Come on. You just need to cooperate with me, all right?
love my dad.
Huh?
I love my dad.
What happened? What's going on? What's going on?
Guys, if your mom was in there with blood, you would be much more helpful than this idiot was.
We heard a bang. We heard a bang. And she told
So
us.
here's another thing. Like when you have to go ask women and interrogate them and stuff like that, they're almost useless. You know what I mean? So they're either lying or they're just almost useless. So we don't demand the same level of responsibility out of them. You know, to say like, okay, well, this car drove by and shot at my house. Like, okay, what kind of a car? Like, I don't know. Well, we need you to try to think of what type of car. So you have to like coach them and walk them through something like that. And another thing too, which I was almost gonna label this one as, women don't really understand logistics. That's why they're not good at a crime like this, because the window might have been broken in the wrong direction. That's a logistical thing that they would just never like think of.
I get out, and then
He
I
probably was trying to get life insurance money or something.
heard screaming. So I came back, and she was on the ground.
Okay, you heard a
I ran
bang.
out back. There was a big, someone broken.
Okay. What is your name?
Sydney.
Are you cut?
They probably know that she did it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're cut
I
somewhere.
don't think so.
Yeah, your hand.
No, I was helping her. I grabbed her.
All right, stop. I'll tell you what. Can you sit on the ground here real quick?
I don't.
I think this cop knows something's wrong.
Come on. Come
You
on.
said the ground.
Yeah, you're fine right there.
No.
Like a dog.
You're fine right there.
I grabbed the knife.
Oh, so you grabbed the knife.
This is minor. They might have a more. I don't know. Check that victim in there.
Yeah.
She's got
She's probably kicked out of school for being a 304 too.
cuts on her hands. I don't know what they have in there, but there's a female down in there. Yeah.
However, as medical personnel rushed Brenda to the hospital and investigators began processing the home, the physical evidence completely contradicted Sydney's statements. The broken window glass was concentrated entirely on the
You called it. You called it right there, 8-Bit Madness. Nice call. I didn't notice that. Good call. Really good. Math man, I believe that's what he was talking about too. Good call.
outside of the house, indicating it had been broken from the inside out, completely ruling out a forced entry by a third party. There were no foreign footprints, no signs of an external struggle, and no evidence of anyone else having been on the property. Meanwhile, Steve Powell was contacted by a family friend who also served as a local officer, advising him to return home due to an emergency. Upon arriving at a scene surrounded by police tape,
What's going on? I don't know. We just got it.
I'm the dad.
Okay,
Sydney.
what's-
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
But you hear how she's crying like this and trying to make it sound so violent and bad. Like, I think she did it. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm pretty sure that's like what it will be about. Yeah, what a dumbass.
What? What the hell? Where's my wife?
The window's broken, Dad.
Where?
The back window's broken in.
She thinks that's all she needs to say, and that covers all her bases.
So you're gonna have to. There's officers inside there, so
I don't know. She was there.
go
Was
check
so much
the lady in the
blood.
house. Okay. She's got minor cuts.
a visibly distraught Steve
Could be all fake.
was transported to the local station. It was inside an interview room that investigators had to deliver the devastating news that his wife of many years had passed away from her injuries. And
From this black-eyed. See how I'm talking about more how
for
let me
the
pause it.
devastating news,
See how I'm talking about more and more people are becoming kind of like black-eyed nihilists like this? Guys, there's a lot of people that delete their parents and stuff right now. It's pretty insane.
that his wife of many years had passed away from her
And
injuries.
probably all the mom did was just say, hey, stop being out there being a 304 and start getting some grades at school.
And that the physical evidence at the scene pointed directly to his own daughter as the sole
Wow.
individual
See, that's another nice thing about not having kids. You don't have to have them be deleted by someone else or them delete anybody. I don't ever have to deal with that. Nope. Can you imagine that? You gave birth to your daughter and the daughter deleted your wife? You know what I mean? Like, that's so crazy. I feel really bad for that guy.
responsible.
And this guy right here probably did everything right.
The investigation quickly shifted from
The
identifying
daughter might have some type of weird autism or something too, and I bet, put a 1 in the chat if you think the daughter was on SSRIs and various, antipsychotics and things.
a suspect to understanding the underlying motive, revealing an elaborate alternate reality that Sydney had meticulously maintained for months. Sydney had been an exceptional student in high school, participating in sports, maintaining high
Please.
academic marks, and securing a scholarship
Hey, I diddled that tree, not you.
the University of Mount Union. She shared an incredibly close best friend dynamic with her mother, Brenda. However, the transition to higher education proved difficult. Without her parents' knowledge, Sydney's academic performance severely declined during her first
She
year,
belongs to the
resulting
streets.
in academic probation. By the fall
belongs to
semester
the
of
streets.
2019, she had failed multiple classes and was officially suspended from the university. Instead of sharing this failure with her family, Sydney chose to completely conceal the truth. For
To be a
months,
lying
she
304.
continued to live in her campus dormitory, waking up every day and leaving at the exact times her classes were scheduled. She attended sorority events and socialized with her roommate,
Uh-oh.
acting as though she
And
was a
what does
full-time student. When her dormitory
what does sorority events include? What type of things do sorority events include? You know,
She
shit like
belongs to the streets.
shit like that would happen there. Stupid sorority events. Guys, sorority events mean they're just a straight up complete 304. I would say being in a sorority is one of the biggest red flags you can find, pretty much. It's like it's really really crazy. It's really crazy. And when sororities win,
Terrorists win.
that's who also wins too.
access was eventually revoked by the university, Sydney resorted to staying in local hotels, depleting her savings to maintain the illusion. Her parents remained completely unaware, tracking her location via the Life 360 app to the campus area and believing she was thriving. The facade finally began to crumble on
So she was on not only stealing from the parent, but this same girl here will bitch about student loans like crazy afterward. Well, it's like you didn't go to school, you're just partying at a sorority and doing fuck all during the day. They're probably the very wicked easy classes that you just show up and barely even have to do anything too. You know, suck a professor's dick or do something, make it work.
March 3rd, when the university contacted her parents regarding the administrative portal. The prosecution argued that Brenda, upon returning home and getting on the phone with the university deans, had finally uncovered the massive deception her daughter had built. According to the state's timeline, it was at this exact moment of discovery that Sydney resorted to extreme measures to prevent the full truth of her academic failure from being realized, resulting in the fatal incident. Following her arrest, Sydney's defense team focused entirely on her mental state, initiating a complex legal battle centered on psychiatric evaluations. Sydney was evaluated by 3 separate defense experts who diagnosed her with an acute psychological condition, specifically a schizoaffective disorder. They argued that she had
Schizo defective disorder.
been experiencing a severe break from reality for months, culminating in a dissociative episode on the day of the incident.
The actual core of this case comes down to one simple question: whether or not the defendant, Miss Sydney Powell, was suffering from a severe mental disease, and because of that severe mental disease, could not understand the wrongfulness of her actions when she took the life of her mother, Brenda. Now, I promise you, I don't mean to diminish or simplify the questions that are going to be
Fake
presented.
crying.
But you're quickly going to learn
Fake crying.
this is not a case about who did it. This is not a case about how it was done. This case will come down to this sole question: whether or not Miss Powell at the time of the murder was suffering from a severe mental disease which prevented her from knowing the wrongfulness.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
I want to stress to each of you, it's not as simple as reading a medical report. It's not as simple as listening to testimony from doctors. You are going to have to listen to all the evidence. You're going to have to weigh that evidence. And the state believes that when you hear that evidence, apply it to your role as a juror, you're going to be able to recognize that Miss Sidney Powell is responsible for the murder of her mother, Brenda, and she was not suffering from a severe mental illness or disease that prevented her from knowing the wrongfulness of what she did.
Meaning she could not fully comprehend the wrongfulness of her actions. Her father, Steve, remained highly supportive of this defense, publicly stating his belief that his daughter was experiencing a severe medical crisis and had never previously shown any violent tendencies. In response, the prosecution presented their own psychological expert who conducted a thorough evaluation and concluded that Sidney was not experiencing a severe mental defect that would absolve her of legal responsibility.
And Dr. Reardon, what is your occupation? What do you do?
I'm a psychologist. I've been licensed since 1976. I've been in practice as a licensed psychologist since 1977. In Sidney's case, it's my opinion that her conditions were likely a combination of biological and situational. And the onset, like I said, probably we have evidence of precursors back to probably several years before the events of 3/3/20.
So what were those precursors? Can you tell the jury, what do you recall identifying as some potential precursors or symptoms of schizophrenia well before?
Well, for example, like every day through her mind, like it would be like this. You just kept hearing the Doom songs from those games in her head. And she just had to go start taking Mom out. You gotta go, Mom. Sorry.
March 3rd of 2020.
Some of the interviews that I did, like with several of her friends or with her English teacher, Catherine Milligan, indicated that she had not frequently, but at times pretty significantly demonstrated precursors like panic attack, panic symptoms, at times withdrawal. But again, when she was in high school, if you are looking at her and looking at the situation on
Mom got hit with the chainsaw.
the outside, everything looks like it's fine. She's an honor student. She's a scholar athlete, not getting.
And she probably cheated her way through all that shit too, using Chat GPT and other shit like that too.
Into a lot of.
If she was smart, she would have just still stayed in school and just made it as easy as possible. She decided to not even go, like, stay in school, and she was already at school.
Trouble. There's no behavioral issues. She's got a good relationship with friends. She's got a good relationship with family and parents. Some of her friends and the teacher, Catherine Milligan, reported episodes where she would like overreact to a situation, have a panic attack in relation to a chemistry presentation, ultimately nailed.
The state's expert argued that Sidney's ability to maintain a complex, multi-layered deception regarding her college enrollment for over a year required a high level of cognitive function, planning, and situational awareness.
So she put all that effort into lying and was willing to kill her own mother for a lie.
They pointed out that her immediate reaction to the incident, breaking a window to stage a crime scene, fabricating a story about an intruder, and attempting to mimic her mother's voice on the phone with the university deans, demonstrated a clear understanding of consequences and an active attempt to avoid them. In September 2023, after lengthy
So that's her just lying on the ground acting.
Delays, the trial concluded with the jury siding with the prosecution's interpretation of the event.
On count one, ma'am, I sentence you to an indefinite sentence of 15 years to life in the Ohio Department of Corrections. On count 4 of the indictment, I sentence you to 3 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. Those two sentences to be run concurrent with and not consecutive to each other.
Sidney was convicted and subsequently sentenced to an indefinite term of 15 years to life in a
That sentence was a real motherfucker.
State Correctional Facility. However, the legal proceedings did not end with the sentencing. In late 2024, Sydney's legal representation successfully filed an appeal, arguing that the trial court made a significant procedural error by denying the defense the opportunity to present a rebuttal witness to counter the state's psychiatric expert. A district appellate court agreed, overturning the initial conviction and stating that the restriction violated standard legal precedents regarding a defendant's right to present comprehensive evidence. The state's prosecutors immediately challenged this reversal, escalating the matter to the Ohio Supreme Court. As of early 2025, the highest court has agreed to review the appellate decision, leaving the final legal outcome of this tragic family case pending, while Sydney remains in a state reformatory awaiting the final judicial resolution. Subscribe to Women of Malice for more cases like this. Thank you for watching.
This is the one I wanted to watch. Oops.
As you all know, the United States is an incredibly ruthless, great power. We don't teach that in school, but that.
And this guy did a good talk too, but I wanted to watch this right here.
What's going on?
Basically, where you are?
Surveillance footage from the morning of August 10th, 2024, captures a scene that defies typical human response following a severe motor vehicle collision. A 24-year-old woman, later identified as Macy Lathers, is seen walking away from an intersection in downtown Miami.
Yeah, this is the one I wanted to watch initially.
She pulls the hood of her sweatshirt up over her head and paces down the sidewalk, leaving behind a multi-vehicle wreckage. There is no indication in her
So she just caused an accident like this and just starts walking away.
Physical demeanor that she is injured, nor does she attempt to contact emergency services or check on the occupants of the other vehicles involved in the collision. It is 6:45 a.m., and the footage represents the immediate aftermath of an event that resulted in 2 fatalities and severe injuries to a 3rd individual.
Watch my eyes. The water. We live in a dome. This is how we see.
What'd you take?
2C pink. See drugs. He's over in the corner. Go in the white car. Go in the car. My phone. AI. Oh my gosh, it's a curse at the White House. They're coming now. Oh, you need to relax.
Incident occurred at the intersection of North Miami Avenue and 8th Street. According to electronic data recovered from the vehicle, Lathers was operating a white Mercedes-Benz sedan traveling southbound. The speed limit in this specific commercial and residential zone is 30 miles per hour. However, the Mercedes internal data recorder indicated that the Mercedes was accelerating at 100% capacity,
So she put her foot to the floor, basically.
reaching a speed of 78 miles per hour.
Yeah, but that 78 was probably like, it was, accelerating up to 78 is different than traveling at it. It's a little bit different. So she put her foot to the floor, probably get through a blinking yellow light or something like that.
Just 5 seconds prior to impact. The traffic signal at the intersection was red. The Mercedes proceeded through the red light and collided with a black Range Rover driven by another motorist. The kinetic force of this initial impact redirected both vehicles into a silver Suzuki sedan. Inside the Suzuki were 3 individuals who were simply carpooling to their respective places of employment. Abraham Molina was operating the vehicle. His fiancée, Juanita Hernandez, was
So this is exactly right. This is why I wanted to bring this topic up. Time to think, but why would she care about the people she hurt? She's the main character. That's exactly how they act. There's no sympathy or anything about it. That's what I'm saying. These values, they're a person with no values, like soulless.
In the front passenger seat, and their friend, Jesus Rubio, was in the rear passenger seat. The severity of the impact was catastrophic for the occupants of the Suzuki. Jesus Rubio sustained fatal injuries and was pronounced deceased at the scene by responding medical personnel. Abraham Molina was critically injured and trapped inside the wreckage. Emergency responders extricated him and transported him to Jackson Memorial Hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries while receiving medical treatment. Juanita Hernandez and the driver of the Range Rover both sustained injuries but survived the collision. While bystanders and emergency personnel rushed to assist the victims in the Suzuki and the Range Rover, Lathers was recorded walking away from her heavily damaged Mercedes. Several citizens who witnessed the collision noticed her attempting to leave the immediate area. These bystanders physically intervened, stopping Lathers and bringing her back to the location of the collision to wait for law enforcement. When Miami-Dade police officers arrived, their body-worn cameras captured a highly unusual interaction.
He dead in the car. The two of them dead.
No, hold on a second.
He smacked.
Señora, ¿tú estabas manejando?
This is a certified hood classic.
Sí, ahora viene el rescue's gonna take care of it. No. Why are we saying that? Okay, don't worry.
Lathers was found lying on the pavement, exhibiting erratic behavior.
Literally lying on the pavement, just telling lies. So this is all acting, guys. This is all acting.
Hey, chill out.
Relax.
This is all acting.
Flacco's on the corner. Are you okay? On the corner. Get Flack. Get Flack. I know the answer to heaven. I know it's in the crystal. The crystal.
4210 or 4401, that right there.
Herkimer Diamond in New York. Herkimer Diamond in New York.
Calm down, lady.
Herkimer Diamond in New York. Herkimer Diamond in New York.
You're gonna get some help now. Calm down.
Oh my God. Herkimer Diamond in New York.
Calm down.
Relax.
2111.
Are they gonna bring me to him? Are they gonna bring me to him? They're coming now. So you need to relax. Stay like that, okay? Just stay like how I told you, okay?
She was making statements that lacked logical coherence, telling officers to look at her eyes, claiming that they were living in a dome, and referencing a Hollywood scene. Officers and paramedics attempted to assess her for injuries and gather basic information.
What's your name?
Put me in the coffin, go.
What's your name?
Macy.
Macy?
Macy Leathers.
Macy? What's your last name, Macy? Macy, what's your last name? Maddox?
Lathers.
Mathers.
Lathers. The answer is numerology. Go look at numerology. Look it up online, numerology. What's going on?
She's just making shit up.
No. Yeah. I'm in Earth.
Where?
Earth.
You're where?
Earth.
The roof?
Earth.
Earth. Yeah, we were all on Earth. Do you know where you are? What city? Where?
Oh, Miami.
Miami. Do you know what happened? Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I did.
But her responses remained disconnected from the reality of the situation. She was placed on a stretcher and transported to Jackson Memorial Hospital for a medical evaluation. During the transport, a paramedic asked her for her name.
And you don't want to know what she said?
There was a firefight!
And location. Lathers stated she was from the future and repeatedly mentioned a crystal. When asked if she had consumed any substances, she directly told the medical personnel that she had taken
304th planet of hell.
Were you taking any drugs?
Yeah, pink Tusi from Florida. Go now. Go now.
What'd you take?
Tusi pink.
Oh.
See drugs. He's over in the car. Go in the white car. Go in the car. My phone. AI. Oh my gosh, it's a curse at the White House.
Law enforcement officers attempted to conduct a formal interview with Lathers 12 hours later at the hospital, but she maintained that she had absolutely no memory of the collision, the immediate aftermath, or the statements she made to paramedics. Her complete lack of recall and her behavior at the scene prompted investigators to expedite a toxicology screening to determine her level of impairment at the time she was operating the vehicle. The substance Lathers admitted to consuming, known colloquially as 2C or pink cocaine, is not actually cocaine. It is a synthetic drug mixture that typically contains ketamine, MDMA, and various other psychoactive compounds dyed pink with food coloring. Medical literature categorizes
Give me that red 40 and that shit.
ketamine as a
I've never heard of that stuff before.
dissociative anesthetic, which can cause profound distortions in spatial awareness, perception of time, and cognitive function. When combined with MDMA, a stimulant, the resulting impairment severely diminishes a person's ability to operate heavy machinery or react to changing environmental conditions.
Hey, she was saying she thought there was a dome, and if she just starts talking about small hats a little bit, maybe I will.
The toxicology report from Jackson Memorial Hospital later confirmed the presence of both ketamine and MDMA.
Put in the chat what you think she'll get for time. I'm gonna do 10 years. Time to think. Put 5 to 8 years max. That's a very good guess. Yeah, she took 304 mg of 2C. Yeah, 15. Yeah, 15 is a good guess. 18, 12 might be another really good guess as well. We'll see.
In Lathers' system at the time of her admission. This clinical data provided a factual basis for her erratic behavior and statements captured on police body cameras.
Yeah.
Further,
I put 10. Like, I think it should be double that. Math man put 15, but no more than that. Yeah, it won't be more. Yeah, so 15 maximum. It's like, it's funny. The most we've said is like 15 maximum. Yeah, 10 to 12, 18. So Keyshawn has the highest one at 18.
Investigation into Lathers' background revealed a stark contrast between her public persona and her legal standing. Originally from a small town in upstate New York, she had relocated to Miami and established a presence on social media as an influencer
and 304
model. However, official records from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles showed that
the only thing she modeled was some guy's loads all over her. That's probably about it.
Lathers' driver's license had been officially suspended since January 2024. Therefore, on the morning of August 10, she was legally prohibited from operating a motor vehicle entirely, independently of her toxicological status. The legal proceedings escalated rapidly as the factual evidence accumulated. During her initial bond hearing on August 16, prior to the return of the official toxicology report, Judge Mindy Glazer noted the severity of the situation.
She's an absolute danger to the community based on killing two for driving when she shouldn't have been in a car. And she's clearly impaired based on her statements.
The judge
This was Florida. Oh, yeah,
stated
Miami.
on the record that had bystanders not intervened, Lathers would have likely fled the scene entirely. Initial bond was set and she was placed on house arrest with strict
only house arrest. Oh my God.
GPS monitoring and a mandate against driving. However, as the complete data from the vehicle's event recorder and the toxicology results were submitted to the court, the state upgraded the charges significantly. Lathers was formally charged with multiple felonies, including 2 counts of DUI manslaughter, 2 counts of vehicular homicide, reckless driving causing serious bodily injury, and leaving the scene of a crash involving death. DUI manslaughter in the state of Florida carries a mandatory minimum sentence, and the accumulation of these charges exposes her to decades in the state correctional system. During a subsequent hearing, prosecutors successfully argued that Lathers presented a severe risk to the public, highlighting the vehicle.
Yeah, she does. Crazy risk. I don't even think she should have been home at house arrest.
Data showing acceleration to 70.
Oh my God, she ran in there like a missile. Did you see that? It came from right here. Holy crap. I'm going to go back and like put that at slow-mo. Watch this. She came in like a fucking rocket ship. This is like going really
Highlighting the
slow.
vehicle data showing acceleration to
Like a freaking bomb went off. So she had her foot to the floor, not a care about anything. Wow. She almost hit like the maximum amount of cars possible.
78 miles per hour and her suspended license, the state demonstrated a pattern of
Hey guys, it looks like she really put her foot down this time.
conscious disregard for traffic laws. Senior Judge Rosa Figueroa revoked the previous bond conditions, ordering Lathers to be remanded into custody at the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center while awaiting trial.
Good.
The prosecution's investigation remains ongoing.
Guys, imagine being one of those people in that Mexican family. This woman kills 2 people, injures a shit ton, tried to run away from the scene and was on drugs, and she's not even in jail. She's at home and house arrest. Probably on drugs, fucking off again. Crazy. You know what I mean? That family needs to see her be held in jail at least until there's a trial.
As they attempt to construct a precise timeline of
No emotion about it.
Lathers' activities in the hours leading up to 6:45 a.m. In recent developments, the state filed a motion to execute a search warrant on Lathers' personal electronic devices, including an iPhone and 2 iPads recovered during the investigation. Despite objections from the defense, Judge Samuel Sloan ruled that the devices hold potential evidentiary value regarding her whereabouts, communications, and potential acquisition of the substances found in her system.
Yeah. Well, they also probably she was trying to have a friend pick her up so she could just get out of there too, and they would be complicit in it.
The extraction of this digital data is currently underway. Lathers has formally entered a plea of not guilty to all charges.
What?
The case continues to move through the Miami-Dade County court system, centering entirely on the intersection of vehicle telemetry data, forensic toxicology, and
the vehicle telemetry data said that she put her foot to the floor. It literally said it had 100% acceleration, so she put her foot to the floor and held it there.
Legal response
in like a 30-mile-an-hour zone. This was not like out on a highway or, in an open country road. This was like downtown Miami, very early in the morning.
Responsibilities of a driver operating a vehicle with a suspended license. If you would like to watch more cases like this, subscribe to Women of Malice.
He told Axios' Barak Ravid about his call with Benjamin Netanyahu when there was fire being exchanged again for the first time since March.
Hang on. I was looking for this one right here.
Nervous laughter, not grief. She sat in that courtroom laughing. Not nervous laughter, not grief. A real open laugh, like the charges against her were someone else's problem. This was a 33-year-old mother of 3 facing life in prison for the murder of her husband, and she was laughing. Her defense team had built a careful image around her, a grieving widow, a devoted mother. She had even written a children's book about
Oh, this chick? The one that made the children's book about grief and everything? A demon. We've already seen kind of this woman before, so I don't want to cover her again. We'll do this one though.
The image of a young girl, barely 14 years old, with her head bowed and hands clasped in what looks like a desperate prayer, is enough to evoke a deep sense of protective empathy in almost anyone who sees it. In the quiet, wood-paneled atmosphere of a Broward County courtroom, Sophia Koval...
God damn it, another Florida. Sorry, guys. I don't know how... I'm pretty sure Broward County is in Florida. Maybe it's a different state, though. Sorry, it always ends up being Florida.
looked like the very definition of a child lost in a system she couldn't comprehend, a war refugee whose eyes seemed to carry the weight of a 1,000-mile journey from the falling bombs
That chick looks like she's straight from Exorcist.
Of Ukraine to the suburban palm trees of Florida. Her defense team leaned heavily into this narrative, painting a picture of a young mind fractured by the sounds of air raid sirens and the terror of displacement, suggesting that what happened in that Lauderdale Lakes apartment
Oh man, she was from Ukraine too. That sucks.
was not an act of malice, but a tragic, involuntary explosion of a soul pushed beyond its breaking point. For weeks, the public and the court grappled with this image of the broken child. But as the prosecution began to peel back the layers of that humid May night in 2024, a different, far more chilling reality began to emerge from the evidence lockers. They didn't just have a traumatized girl, they had a crime scene that defied the logic of a simple accident or a momentary lapse in sanity.
Look at how empty
They
she
had a
looks
timeline
there.
that whispered of a cold, calculated silence that lasted for hours, and they had the story of a victim whose life was a testament to human survival, only to be ended in the one place she finally felt safe. To understand the gravity of the charges Sofia Koval faced, you have to look past the tears in the courtroom and step into the NW40.
She looks like a absolute witch, bridge troll demon.
First Street apartment, where 3 generations of the Koval family were.
She had a rather big nose too. And don't get it twisted, Ukraine still has a lot of small hats there.
Trying to build an American dream that was destined to become a nightmare. The story truly begins with Yevgenia Koval, an 80-year-old woman whose very existence was a victory over the darkest chapters of the 20th century. Born in the shadow of Nazi-occupied France in 1944, Yevgenia was a child of war before she could even walk, her family eventually moving back to a Soviet-controlled Ukraine, where she spent decades navigating the hardships of the Cold War and the iron-fisted rule of the Stalinist era. She was a woman who knew the value of discipline, the
Yeah, she was probably awesome. This woman said the hard R too.
weight of history, and the absolute necessity.
This woman was one of those people from the Greatest Generation, was probably a great grandma, would like cook her tits off, make you pierogies and everything, was just happy with small stuff. You put this woman right here in a small like apartment, like a Soviet style apartment, she'll be like so happy that she probably didn't, she probably actually had a lot of wisdom and stuff. It's such a shame that they, took out someone like that who's like had a, been through all that, overcame that, only to get taken out by this idiot troll here. That guys, that's a small hat type nose right there. That definitely is. See that?
Of resilience. She had been a teacher, a pillar of her community, and a mother who worked tirelessly to ensure her son Vladimir had opportunities she could only imagine. Even when the Soviet Union collapsed and the world shifted beneath her feet, Yevgenia remained a constant, even surviving a battle with Panzer that should have claimed her years earlier. When she finally immigrated to the United States in her 70s,
she didn't get killed by the big C. She got killed by the little C, her granddaughter. Oh!
To live with Vladimir, she believed the era of survival was over and the era of peace had begun. She spent her days in the quiet Lauderdale Lakes complex, a place where the biggest worries were supposed to be the Florida heat and the timing of a doctor's appointment. But that peace was shattered on May 23, 2024, when Vladimir Koval returned home from a brief visit with a friend, expecting to find his mother and daughter settling in for the night.
No, she was in the bedroom. In the bedroom. Screaming. Like yelling, or what was? Something blubbering, like a little crying, kind of like, but not like not really yelling. Okay, so not loud, just kind of making noise, make it cry. And I see grandma I couldn't recognize, so I asked Pia, come here. What happened? You said she was laying same way we found her. Same as we found it. She was laying face up on the ground.
Instead, he walked into a silence so heavy it felt physical. As he pushed open the door, the mundane details of his home, the furniture, the familiar smells, were suddenly recontextualized by the sight of his 80-year-old mother lying motionless on the living room floor. The scene was not one of a quick, accidental fall. There was a brutality to the environment that spoke of a struggle, but a struggle that was tragically one-sided. Strewn across the room were the broken pieces of Yevgenia's walker, the very tool she relied on to move through the world, now transformed into a symbol of her ultimate vulnerability. Beside her lay a leather belt, its heavy metal buckle a focal point for investigators who would later determine it had been used with repeated, focused force. Vladimir's initial shock was compounded by the presence of his daughter, Sophia. She wasn't screaming for help. She wasn't trying to perform CPR. She wasn't on the phone with a...
Yeah, probably just sitting there watching it, diddling her bean or getting off on it somehow. That's a part of... So this is what I'm saying, guys, too. That's a part of Tylenol brain. They'll just watch somebody die in front of them without any emotion. They'll just be that part of their brain and soul and everything is disconnected. They'll just watch someone, just sit there and just watch someone die. But they watch them die as almost like some Children of the Corn type thing. They just sit there and watch it like that. Wow.
Emergency services.
They adopted her too.
She was simply there, in the room, seemingly disconnected from the carnage at her feet.
Yeah, see this disconnected look in her face? That's kind of a form of Tylenol brain.
When Vladimir, in a state of sheer panic and grief, asked his daughter what had happened, her response was delivered with a flatness that would later haunt every deputy who stepped into the room. She claimed her grandmother had scratched her and that she had merely defended herself. This claim of self-defense, however, would immediately crumble under the...
Please, you want to know what she did? She did this.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
And then did a little bit of... with a knife.
Terrorists win.
The weight of forensic reality. An 80-year-old woman with a walker and a history of cancer is not a physical match to a healthy, mobile teenager.
She was probably an awesome lady, too. This is the type of lady that is like, will make you pierogies and good tea and stuff like that.
And the injuries Yevgenia sustained, which included signs of prolonged manual pressure and repeated impacts, suggested a sustained attack.
Praying to God now, maybe a little too late, you godless, soulless 304. See how they always try to find God like at the last second.
That lasted far longer than a simple defensive maneuver. When the paramedics arrived after Vladimir's 12:26 a.m. call, they found Yevgenia beyond help. She was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at Broward Health Medical Center. Under Florida's Baker Act, Sophia was initially taken to a mental health facility for observation, a move intended to determine if she was a danger to herself or others. But during those 72 hours, the investigators weren't just watching her, they were building a case. The autopsy report was the first major blow to Sophia's defense. It detailed a series of injuries that painted a picture of rage, not protection. There were defensive wounds on Yevgenia's arms, proving that the elderly woman had tried, in vain, to shield her face and neck from her grandmother. The medical examiner identified the murder weapons as the grandmother's own walker and the leather belt, a combination of everyday household items used in a way that suggested a terrifying level of
This is actually kind of scary.
resourceful violence. Most disturbing of all was the window of time. Detectives realized that Yevgenia had been dead or dying for 4 hours.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. She just sat there watching it. Emotionless, just watching it. That's the part that's so sick about these people. That's what I'm saying. Their brain isn't connected all the way. Or, you know, what I'm saying, it takes someone no soul to just sit there and watch somebody die like that.
Before Vladimir came home. For 4 hours, Sophia had sat in that apartment with her grandmother's body, never once picking up the phone to call 911, never once seeking help from a neighbor. This 4-hour silence became the cornerstone of the prosecution's argument. This wasn't a child who had snapped and then realized her mistake. This was a person who committed an act and then waited with an almost supernatural level of calm for the consequences to arrive. As Sophia was moved from the hospital to a juvenile detention center and officially charged with murder, the community began to ask the question that would define the trial. What could possibly turn a 14-year-old into someone capable of such a thing? The answer, it turned out, lay in a small piece of plastic and glass that has become the center of a modern adolescent's world, her smartphone, and a generational clash that was exacerbated by the trauma of a war they thought they had escaped. The investigation into
Please, this chick didn't care about any of that.
Sofia Koval's motive quickly moved away from the war-torn refugee narrative and toward a much more contemporary source of tension: digital addiction and parental control. Vladimir Koval revealed to detectives that Sofia had become increasingly obsessed with her phone in the months leading up to the tragedy.
So she probably deleted that grandma because that grandma was like saying, "Hey, stop being on this phone so much and stop being a 304 and everything and get your shit together. You have such a golden opportunity." She's like, "When I was your age, I was like digging a ditch in a war, shitting outside and stuff like that. And this 304 is just sitting here bored because she can't play like Angry Birds and some like retarded games and have Twitter." Yeah, they will just butcher your own grandma for like and torture her for like hours. She probably was taking videos of it.
For a girl who had lost her mother to the visa complications of a war zone, with
She looks like a transformer too, kind of.
Sofia's mother still stuck in the UK while Sofia and Vladimir were in Florida, that phone wasn't just a device. It was her only remaining umbilical cord to her past life, her mother's voice, and her sense of self. To Sofia, the phone was her world. To her grandmother, Yevgenia, the phone was a distraction.
Exactly. This grandma was an OG and didn't put up with bullshit like this. The grandma was probably 100% right, giving her really good guidance and doing something that the mom wasn't doing, which was like, trying to guide her. We actually need people like this grandma here. I'm serious.
A sign of disrespect and an obstacle to Sofia's integration into her new life. On the morning of May 23rd, Vladimir, frustrated by Sofia's refusal to help with chores or engage with her studies, made the decision that many parents make every day. He confiscated the phone. He left the apartment for several hours, leaving the 14-year-old in the care of her grandmother, unaware that he had just removed the only safety valve Sofia felt she had.
Please, it's not a safety valve. She just was addicted to it and didn't want to like read a book. She couldn't live with herself for like a few hours with her grandma baking pierogies or doing something like traditional. So she just started like slitting her throat. Crazy. Oh yeah, she will. She'll be someone's little girl in prison.
The prosecution argued that the rage described in the autopsy was the direct result of this confiscation. Sofia didn't just see a grandmother trying to enforce house rules.
Yeah.
She saw a woman who was complicit.
It sucks because that grandma, guys, like, so we talk about, let me get a picture of this woman again. Of the grandma. We talk a lot about a patriarchy and having a strong father and stuff like that. But to be honest, a grandma is one of the most important things a family can have. Especially black families, the grandma really holds it down. Everyone, co-signs with her, and you always have grandma's house. You can go there, and she'll give good advice and stuff like that. A grandma is a really special thing to have, especially if you can kind of develop a relationship with them, because they should actually, know some stuff. They live through all types of things. You know what I mean? They were around before technology was crazy. Some of them are kind of like, I'm talking the people who are like before boomers too. The greatest generation type people. That's like who she was a member of, sort of. And she probably had great values, great wisdom. Was telling her to say, "Hey, sweetheart, just be a traditional woman, find a good man, settle down and do all this stuff." She's 14. I guarantee you she was pounding that into her head, but she was just watching probably pornography and all this Instagram bullshit and stuff, and that motivated her enough that she felt she needed to kill her grandma to just continue being on her phone more and stuff. It's terrible.
Move that would have seen a 14-year-old girl facing the possibility of life in prison. The gravity of the crime, a brutal system.
Killing your own grandma is like one of the worst things I could imagine.
Sustained attack on a vulnerable senior met the legal criteria for such a move, but the defense was prepared with a phalanx of
Yeah, this
psychological
is
experts.
scary.
These experts presented a counter-narrative that was difficult for the court to ignore. They spoke of developmental trauma disorder, a condition where a child's brain is literally rewired by the experience of war and sudden displacement. They argued that Sophia wasn't evil
I
or
don't think
cold,
so.
but rather that she was in a state of dissociative rage, where the brain's prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logic and impulse control, simply shuts down under stress. They pointed to her blank expression during her arrest as proof of this dissociation rather than proof of a lack of remorse. They described a girl who was mourning the loss of her home, her mother, and her culture, all while trying to navigate the hyper-competitive social environment of an American middle school where she barely spoke the language. To the defense, Sophia was as much a victim of the war in Ukraine as her grandmother was. The only difference was that Sophia's wounds were internal and invisible until it was too late. However, the prosecution's experts countered with a much more damning interpretation of Sophia's behavior. They highlighted the calculated nature of her shifting stories. When first questioned, she claimed self-defense. When that didn't fit the forensic evidence, she shifted the narrative to a mercy killing, suggesting her grandmother was already dying and she was merely helping her. The prosecution argued that this wasn't the behavior of a dissociative child. It was the behavior of someone who understood exactly what they had done and was actively trying to manipulate the legal outcome. They pointed to the 4 hours she spent in the apartment without calling for help as evidence of a consciousness of guilt. If she had truly snapped, they argued, the immediate aftermath would be one of panic and regret. Instead, Sophia waited. This waiting was presented as a chilling indicator of her true temperament. The judge, faced with two diametrically opposed views of the same girl, had to decide where justice lay, in the retribution.
How much years do you think she'll get, or some type of she'll probably get like 5 years.
Of an adult prison or the rehabilitation of the juvenile system. The turning point came during the psychological evaluations, where Sophia's history of quiet withdrawal at school was analyzed. Teachers described a girl who had become a ghost, someone who was being bullied for her accent and her background, but never fought back until the night of the 23rd. The court eventually reached a decision that reflected the complex, tragic nature of the case. In a ruling that sparked intense debate across Florida, the judge decided that Sophia Koval would be tried as a juvenile. The court acknowledged the brutality of the act, but ultimately decided that
a juvenile.
the system's goal for a 14-year-old should be rehabilitation, not just punishment. Sophia was adjudicated.
No, I don't think you can really walk back what she did. I think you do that, you're pretty much cooked.
Guilty of the charges, but her sentence was a far cry from the life term the prosecution had originally sought. She was committed to a maximum risk juvenile residential program where she would be required to undergo intensive daily psychiatric treatment and counseling.
Your attorneys have negotiated on your behalf that you would be adjudicated guilty of this charge, then you would be sentenced to juvenile sanctions, where you would be committed to a maximum risk program.
They're using a fake Ukrainian. They're using, like, trying to translate it like she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Followed by a conditional release not to terminate without a hearing. For how long? You have to have terms and conditions.
Till the age of 21.
And that would be in place until you turn.
Oh, great. Just let her out back on the streets at 21. That's wonderful. She won't do it again. Guys, if this was a guy, he would be cooked. He'd be absolutely cooked. He would be absolutely cooked.
21, do you understand
The
that?
conditions of her release are some of the strictest in the state's history. She will remain in state custody until at least the age of 18 and potentially until 21, depending entirely on her progress.
Guys, you see the double standard here? She will go out and do this again. If you have it in it to kill your own grandma in cold blood and, like, sit there and watch her die for hours, it'll happen again.
And the evaluations of court-appointed psychologists. Even after her release, she will be under a 3-year conditional release program, a form of high-stakes probation where any sign of violent behavior or failure to comply with her mental health regimen would result in the immediate refiling of murder charges in adult court.
Ms. Koval, do you understand that you could be in this program for up to 3 years until juvenile justice determines that you have satisfied their requirements?
Do you think they're going to do a good job of reform her? I don't think so at all.
Yes, sir.
The final moments of the sentencing were defined.
Again, you need these old school Soviet type grandmas to whoop. That grandma was probably actually whooping her ass, but the kid just, took weapons to her. I bet that grandma was whooping her ass. They took the phone away and that grandma was in there whooping her ass, doing what she needed to do.
By the words of Vladimir. In a statement that was almost too painful to hear, he addressed the court not just as a grieving son, but as a father who had lost his entire world in a single night. He spoke of the unbearable silence in his home and the broken relationship with the daughter he no longer recognized. He stated that he hoped this judgment would give Sophia a chance to realize her mistake and correct her future life, but he left the courtroom without looking at her.
Good.
Our relationship and
guys, I think he adopted her from the Ukraine.
Here today,
actually, I'm not sure. Maybe it really is his daughter.
To testify that hope that the judgment will give a chance to my daughter to assess, realize her mistake, and correct her future life.
It was a stark reminder that even though the legal case was concluding, the trauma...
Well, she's just going to basically go in the juvenile system now and learn how to become a better criminal and be more sociopathic and crazy. That's basically all. So right now it'll just be like a multiplication effect for her.
Was just beginning its next chapter. As of late 2024, Sophia remains...
Like essentially she's just going to learn how to make various prison shibs and toilet bowl wine and how to lie to say she's taking her meds and not taking her meds and shit like that.
A secure facility.
That's about
her
all
life
we're going to
now
see
a
out of her.
series of therapy sessions and monitored evaluations. The case of Sophia Koval remains a haunting case study in the intersection of war, digital isolation, and the limits of the human mind. It forces us to ask, at what point does a child stop being a victim of their circumstances and start being the author of their own darkness? For the residents of Lauderdale Lakes and the family of Yevgenia Koval, the answer to that question is written in the evidence of a night that proved that sometimes the war you flee follows you all the way home, waiting for the moment you think you're finally safe.
Because she's a dog, so the fleas get on her.
To remind you that some wounds never truly heal. They just wait for a reason to bleed. Subscribe for more cases like this. See you on our next case. When Laken Snelling walked...
Yeah, we'll keep watching a couple more of these. These are pretty good. But it's showing the sociopathy. So right now, we live in a society where if you're a sociopath, it kind of helps you more than if you're not a sociopath. That's why we see these women will go to do all this stuff and they have no remorse because in their mind, they're like, well, what I did really was trying to serve me in the moment. I didn't think ahead of that. I just thought of what benefited me in the moment and what made things better for me. So in this case, that woman, that grandma was probably whooping her ass and took the phone away. Like they said, they're doing all the shit that they should, the old world stuff. You know what I mean? That mother saw World War II and stuff, the grandma. She's like, so, hey, you got to stop this. You got to find a guy and, cut your hair so you don't look like a dog and make it look nice and do all this other stuff. And she just, killed her and watched her die for hours. So that's, like I said, that's part of the Tylenol brain. They have no empathy. They'll just sit there and watch you die.
Into the Lexington, Kentucky courtroom, she carried the calm demeanor of a college senior heading into a routine lecture, displaying no visible signs of distress despite facing severe legal consequences. To understand the gravity of the allegations against her, it is essential to first examine the facade she had meticulously maintained up until the morning of August 27, 2025. Snelling was a 21-year-old interdisciplinary disability studies major at the University of Kentucky and a prominent
What does she study? Being fucking retarded? Oh!
athlete on the school's competitive stunt team. Originally from Jefferson City, Tennessee, her life appeared to be a flawless sequence of collegiate milestones, complete with a high-profile relationship with a university basketball player and a highly curated social media presence. She lived off campus with roommates in an apartment on Park Avenue, projecting the image of a driven and successful student. However, in the months leading up to the tragic incident, those closest to her began to notice subtle but distinct changes. During the intense heat of August, Snelling began wearing uncharacteristically baggy clothing and altering the way she carried herself. Her roommates
she might have been preggo. She might have been preggo.
Quietly observed these shifts in her physical shape, but opted not to confront her, keeping their suspicions strictly to themselves. This unspoken tension culminated in the early hours of August 27, 2025. At approximately 4 a.m., the quiet of the off-campus apartment was shattered by a series of unsettling noises coming directly
There was a firefight!
from Snelling's bedroom. Roommates later described the sounds to investigators as resembling heavy furniture moving or something significant falling forcefully to the floor, with the physical disturbance lasting for roughly an hour. Unsure of how to intervene in the middle of the night, the roommates communicated through a private Snapchat group chat titled The Trap at Park, asking each other what was
All this self-snitching.
happening and if Snelling was all right. Crucially, nobody knocked on her door to check the room. Subscribe now to Women of Malice for more cases like this.
Yeah, check out, I discovered this channel not too long ago, 2.2K subscribers, but I don't know, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job. I told them I found it today, and I told them I would, or not told him, all I did was put this basically, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
Following morning at 8:48 a.m., Snelling sent a message to the group chat offering a simple explanation. She claimed she had not been eating well, felt physically unwell, and had ultimately fainted and fallen to the floor. She assured her roommates she was going to seek
That's coincidence, so I don't have to be responsible because I fainted.
medical attention, effectively closing the conversation. The roommates accepted this explanation and went about their day, completely unaware of the
Hang on a second. Look at this right here. Let me pause it at the right
accepted
time.
this
Hey, looks like she's wearing a hoe tie over there.
explanation and went about their day, completely unaware of the harrowing reality that had unfolded just feet away from them. During those early morning hours, Snelling was not suffering from a simple fainting spell. She was alone in her bedroom going through an unassisted delivery of a full-term baby boy.
Oh my God.
According to police and court records, no medical
Guys, they make it so easy to just go out and delete a baby or just take birth control or something. How insane is this, guys?
Professionals were called, and no one else was present in the room.
So they're willing to delete a newborn baby that they could bring to a fire department and just put it through the fire department window thing and drive off and not have to be responsible for it. They'll just delete a baby for their own vanity. Vanity is the currency of social media, and social media and the AI algorithm is their god. And they will sacrifice to it. If they have a kid, they're not going to, they're not going to be able to be a 304 on the internet as much because they'll be changing diapers and everything. They can't have that.
Room to assist. Following the delivery, Snelling reportedly wrapped the newborn in a towel, describing the action to investigators as wrapping him like a burrito, and placed him inside a dark plastic trash bag. She then took that bag and concealed it inside her bedroom, closeted alongside other items connected.
Wow, there's a lot of skeletons in her closet. Talk about some emotional baggage being in that closet, huh? Looks like the monster's above the bed.
To the biological event. What followed was a highly methodical cleanup process. Snelling took a shower, systematically removed visible traces of the incident from her room, dressed
Do you
herself.
think she calls it everything shower after she has to wash off all that newborn and afterbirth? Come on now. It's an everything shower when you just shower off your aborted baby.
And left the apartment. She sat in her vehicle, placed a mobile order for fast food, and eventually drove toward the University of Kentucky's on-campus student health clinic. In a detail that profoundly shifts the context of this investigation, Kentucky state law features a safe haven provision. This legislation ensures that any parent can legally and safely surrender a newborn up to 30 days old at any hospital, police station, or staffed fire station without facing any legal charges or answering any questions.
They made it easy. This is like what I was saying, the fire station thing. They made something else where it's just easier for her. She could just deliver this baby, or what I'm trying to say, there was options. So if you have options, you're not really a victim.
Legal alternative to what had just occurred. Yet, despite driving to the edge of the medical campus and sitting in the parking lot,
I don't know,
Snelling
perhaps.
never walked through the doors to utilize this safe haven option.
Never. So this same idiot is the one who will say, like, we need women's rights to have this type of care. Abortion is health care and all this. Well, how about you go and use it instead of just having it, deleting it in your room? Do you want to know why she deleted it in a closet? Because she had to get the help of Dr. Coatenhanger. Come on now. Come on. Paging Dr. Coatenhanger.
Instead, she simply drove away. Back at the Park Avenue apartment, the situation took a devastating turn. Roommates, still uneasy about the morning's unexplained events, decided to conduct a brief welfare check inside Snelling's bedroom. Upon opening her closet, they made a shocking discovery that immediately transitioned the situation into a critical emergency response. At 10:33 a.m., a frantic call was placed to 911, reporting an unresponsive infant. 911 police officers and emergency medical personnel were dispatched immediately. Upon arrival, they located the baby boy wrapped in the towel and plastic bag exactly where Snelling had left him. The infant was cold to the touch, and based on initial medical assessments, authorities determined the fatal event had occurred several hours prior to their arrival. No resuscitation efforts could be.
Remember, she ordered food. She could even eat. She probably ordered a goddamn burrito. You know how she said she wrapped her own baby up as a burrito and put her in the black trash bag? She probably ordered Chipotle and ate it just fine. She probably ate it just fine. She's like, geez, having and deleting a baby is a lot of work. I'm gonna get. Can you put the extra protein on this burrito, please? Thank you.
Attempted, and the infant was pronounced deceased.
Extra avocado toast for this girl right here.
At the scene. While Snelling was nowhere to be found at the apartment, prompting law enforcement to initiate an
This time she didn't have a plan A or B.
immediate search for the 21-year-old student as the quiet college residence
Plan C is Dr. Coatenhanger.
transformed into an active investigative perimeter. Approximately an hour after the 911 call was placed from the apartment, investigators located Laken Snelling at the University of Kentucky Medical Center, where she was finally seeking medical care for the physical aftermath of the delivery. Before law enforcement formally interviewed her, Snelling had already provided crucial statements to the hospital staff that would soon become the focal point of the prosecution's timeline. She reportedly told medical personnel that she believed the newborn might have been alive at the time of delivery, specifically noting to nurses that she heard a whimper and observed a small amount of fetal movement. However, when official police questioning began shortly after,
Guys, doing this right here, looking into the Plato's cave of this phone and all the bullshit was more important than her offspring.
Snelling's narrative shifted significantly. She told detectives that she did not believe the infant had taken a breath.
And this is important. What's important to her is batting her eyelashes, looking left and right, being a 304. That was more important to her than, she could have got all the help she needed.
Describing his appearance as blue and purple, and stating she assumed the tragic loss had already occurred by the time she woke up.
Yeah, you have to say that.
After briefly passing out. This glaring discrepancy between her...
Let's say she did pass out and have the baby at home. She still could have called an ambulance or done something.
Statements to medical professionals and law enforcement triggered an intensive digital forensics investigation. Authorities quickly secured search warrants for Snelling's cellular device and her cloud accounts, aiming to uncover her state of mind leading up to and during the incident. The digital footprint they recovered dismantled any remaining facade of ignorance. Investigators found a history of internet searches related to concealed pregnancies, indicating that Snelling had been actively researching how to keep her condition hidden long before the events of August 27th. More alarmingly, digital forensic specialists recovered several photographs that had been taken during the actual labor process in her bedroom.
Wow.
Images that were subsequently deleted from the device. The existence of these real-time photographs suggested that Snelling was not entirely incapacitated or unaware of her surroundings during the delivery, and the deliberate deletion of these files pointed strongly toward an intentional effort to tamper with digital evidence. Additionally, police secured warrants for her Snapchat account, preserving the messages sent by her roommates regarding the loud noises, which established a rigid and undeniable timeline of the morning's events. Based on the physical scene and the digital evidence, law enforcement arrested Snelling on August 30, 2025. She was booked into the Fayette County Detention Center on initial charges of concealing a birth, tampering with physical evidence, and improper handling of physical remains. Following her arraignment, where she entered a plea of not guilty to all counts, a judge set her bail at $100,000. Her family...
She had to pay $10K.
Posted the bond, and she was released to serve home incarceration with an electronic GPS.
Yep, that's what we do again. Just leave them at home. Leave them at home with an ankle bracelet on. They're gonna start selling like a bedazzled ankle bracelet soon because they just don't send anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like this is egregious here.
Monitoring bracelet. As a direct result of the ongoing investigation, Snelling officially withdrew from the University of Kentucky and was permanently removed from the stunt athletic program. For months, the legal proceedings remained in a tense holding pattern due to a preliminary autopsy report that could not definitively determine the exact cause or manner of the fatal incident.
Guys, it shouldn't matter the exact cause or manner. It still was irresponsible the entire time. Everything was irresponsible. Also, too, the roommates should have said something, too. The roommates also probably were in a lot of denial the whole time. Hey, ladies, step up. If you think you're, you know what I'm saying? I think I'd be able to kind of tell if someone gave birth and there were a couple rooms next to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I would kind of, how did that woman's intuition help out? There's a baby dead next to you and a woman being pregnant this whole time. You didn't say shit. How's that woman's intuition working out?
This medical ambiguity was a temporary shield for the defense, as prosecutors needed concrete scientific proof of whether the infant had taken a breath outside the womb before they could pursue heavier, more severe charges. That vital piece of evidence finally materialized during a pivotal update.
It's kind of trashy of her to wear red after, like, Dr. Coatenhangering your baby.
in March 2026. Following an exhaustive secondary autopsy and extensive microscopic testing, medical examiners conclusively determined that the infant was indeed born alive and ultimately passed away due to asphyxiation. Armed with this definitive medical finding, Fayette County Commonwealth attorneys presented the entirety of the evidence, from the deleted labor photographs to the conflicting hospital statements, before a grand jury. On March 10th, 2020.
And you know why it took that long? Because well, we believe this woman, and she didn't know what she was doing, and this just all kind of happened so quick, and she's so scared. She's only 21 years old, so she is so young. Her frontal cortex has not developed yet. Garbage.
The legal landscape of the case shifted dramatically when the grand jury returned an indictment, upgrading the charges against Snelling to first-degree manslaughter. The updated indictment documents also noted a specific legal caveat, stating that Snelling had acted under an emotional disturbance during the event, a detail that will likely become a central focus as the defense strategy moves toward trial. What began as quiet suspicions in a college apartment has now escalated into a severe felony prosecution that will test the boundaries of legal accountability. Snelling's decision to bypass the safe haven options available just down the street, combined with the deliberate digital cleanup she attempted in the aftermath, paints a deeply troubling picture based strictly on the timeline of facts. The legal system is no longer just investigating a concealed delivery. It is navigating a complex and tragic sequence of events where a young woman actively made decisions that ended a life, ensuring that the former student athlete.
This is Job. This is Jesus. I must send the Boondock Saints to resurrect justice for this selfish 304.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand, our feet may swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow a river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. Nomine Patri et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
It will now face the full weight of the judicial process. If you will like more cases like this, then subscribe to Women of Malice. See you on our next case.
Not one child should ever die because those bastards closed our hospital.
Hang on. Oops.
It's.
Let me go through the chat here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to add in some more soundboard stuff, so it might be a little annoying and cheesy at first, but I thought that one was pretty dope. Yeah. 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 It affected a lot of people, what she did. Why private equity is buying hospitals and shutting them down. This is another More Perfect Union, fair use. And I like More Perfect Union quite a bit. They're kind of like liberal, but I actually like them a lot.
Not one child should ever die.
And I think the hospitals are run like shit. They're a scam. All this type of stuff.
Because those bastards closed.
And really, when we talk about hospitals, healthcare in general, you're really talking about how insurance companies come get their little parasitic dicks all up in everything. They basically create tolls anytime you want to do something.
It's
quite frankly, tragic what these investors have done.
There's sadness and anger about the loss of this critical community resource.
There's actually a sign up there right in front right now that says emergency department permanently closed. Anyone here with an emergency.
Yep. And I just had, I should have went to the hospital, went to urgent care instead. Guys, these people are not like in a rush to help you. Like the standard of care, the lack of professionalism, a lot of that is going down the drain. So, be careful. And I would just say probably expect more of this in the future.
Should call 911.
What you're looking at was one of the busiest hospitals in a county of more than 500,000 people, right outside one of America's biggest cities. Last month, the hospital closed after its parent company went bankrupt. But this wasn't any ordinary bankruptcy.
Moments after Governor Shapiro wrapped up a news conference.
So Governor Shapiro, never forget, Governor Shapiro had like Netanyahu over, and they were like signing those missiles. Do you guys remember that? When they had the guy like signing like autograph. No. It wasn't Netanyahu. Zelensky came and was signing all these missiles with this Governor Shapiro guy. So this guy, I don't respect him at all.
A family showed up at the closed hospital.
And if you're close with basically Zelensky, you're just doing what small hats want, essentially. That's like what Zelensky is not a Ukrainian. He's a small hat. Let's just get that straight. And he's an actor, comedian, CIA puppet.
Baby wasn't breathing.
Prospect never treated us like a hospital. They treated us like a business.
What happened at Crozier Chester Medical Center in Pennsylvania is happening all across the country. Private equity is buying hospitals, loading them up with debt, and then shutting them down, all while
and it's all printed money.
Investors cash out.
They don't have any skin in the game. They can take financial risks, but not have to pay the price for them.
I hope for you that you never have a hospital close in your county. I hope for you that private equity never comes into your county to take over your health care.
We can't believe that we're not going to be able to help these people anymore. And somebody has to do something because these people deserve it.
Crozier Chester Medical Center, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, was the busiest ER in the area, treating tens of thousands of patients each year. It was the main hospital in a system that, until 2022, was made up of 4 hospitals.
We were a really robust hospital and we were busy all the time. Those people trusted us. They came every day and let us take care of their families.
But in the mid-2010s, the Crozier Health System was in financial trouble.
Crozier was a nonprofit system that was struggling because they're a safety net hospital system. They have a disproportionate number of people who are covered by Medicaid or uninsured. And so these types of hospitals...
And they hate uninsured people. They hate you.
They often have very thin margins.
So in 2016, Crozier's nonprofit board approved a sale to a California company called Prospect Medical Holdings. Unlike Crozier,
which is probably some shell company of a shell company of a shell company of like Liberty Mutual or some shit.
Prospect was a for-profit system, and its principal owner was Leonard Green and Partners, a private equity firm based in Los Angeles.
Some of the companies they've owned over the years include Joann's and a number of other just big box stores or chain restaurants.
We were told that Crozier was...
Oh, you mean slop?
Struggling financially. And so, what were we going to do?
Being bought by a for-profit system didn't fix Crozier's problems. Instead, they got worse. In 2022, Prospect closed 2 of the 4 Delaware County hospitals it owned, and conditions at Peggy's hospital deteriorated.
Pretty quickly, we started to see the supplies change, right? They started using different vendors. The quality was not what it was before. And little by little, we had less and less staff.
Well, hundreds of workers at Crozier Health will soon have to find a new job.
Like all of those support systems that really made us be able to do the great job that we were always to do in caring for our patients, we started to notice all of that start to go away.
So what's the incentive?
Well, small hats need to make, more and more and more money every year. That's what the shareholders want, sweetheart. That's it. That's what you're there to do.
And for a private equity company that owns retail stores and restaurants to get in the business of struggling hospitals.
Instead of putting money into these systems, they're actually taking money out of the systems.
In 2018, just 2 years after buying Crozier Health, Prospect took out a $1.1 billion loan and then sent nearly half of it straight to their investors while Crozier continued to suffer.
It's fundamentally extractive. Even among private equity industry folks, it's a controversial way to generate a return on an investment because it adds absolutely no value to the company in question. And the private equity firm is not on the hook for any of that debt, but they can reap the rewards.
Leonard Green sold Prospect in 2019, but Prospect and its hospitals were still on the hook for the debt. In order to pay down that debt, Prospect sold the real estate of its hospital.
It's almost like a bunch of small hat shit happened.
Including Crozier, to an Alabama company called Medical Properties Trust, or MPT. These deals are known as sale-leaseback transactions.
What MPT does is it partners with health systems like Prospect to buy up their real estate and then rent it back. I like to call it a hospital landlord because that's really what it is. Most of the time, the revenue that's generated from these one-time sales of the real estate, it doesn't go back into the hospital. It's being pocketed by investors.
And like a tenant, Crozier had to start paying rent, $35 million a year. Last year, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office sued Prospect and Leonard Green for mismanagement and breach of contract, saying the company, quote, broke their promise with years of neglectful, self-serving practices that have put lives at risk. This January, Prospect filed for bankruptcy, and within months, it closed its last hospitals in Delaware County, including the one where Peggy worked.
I'm going to tell you honestly that we all believed up until that very last day in April that we would be saved and they would keep Crozier open because of how desperately needed it is in that community. And it was like someone kicked me right in the stomach. I remember feeling this like, how can this end? Nothing will haunt me like those days prior to closing that inpatient psychiatric unit, where I felt like I was herding patients out like cattle, where I felt like nobody cared about them.
On May 15th, the stakes of the
Well, they don't.
Closure took a dire turn.
When a woman came in her vehicle, screeching her brakes right behind the press conference, screaming at the crowd for us to help her with her baby who needed care. She took this baby to Crozier not knowing that it was closed.
They just called and said that she wasn't breathing and my heart just dropped.
She was taken by ambulance to Nemours Children's Hospital in Wilmington, a 20-minute drive away, where she was given a diagnosis.
I have 6 children, and no mother should have to drive up and hope that there's someone there to save their child and frantically hand their baby who's not breathing over to someone to save when there's a hospital right here and it's empty.
What's happened to Crozier is this natural outcome of what happens when we allow markets to dictate access and quality of healthcare. It's not profitable to provide healthcare at a hospital with a disproportionate number of people on Medicaid. And if we don't want that to be the case anymore, we're going to need to find a way to finance healthcare that it doesn't allow investors to swoop in and extract from these systems before they finally go under.
The impact of shutting down Crozier Chester Medical Center isn't limited to just Chester either. Since the hospital closures, the share of Delaware County residents who live more than 5 miles away from a hospital has nearly tripled. Emergency visits at one Delaware County hospital have increased more than 40%, and local officials have had to scramble to make up the loss of ambulance services Crozier provided to towns and boroughs.
So, guys, this is also too like us allowing ourselves to not take care of ourselves as people. You know, like these people are so willing to put profits over people's health, the health of the society, the health of the community, disease prevention, things like this. They just don't care. You are cattle to them.
What we are experiencing is the trickle-down effect of the loss of 4 hospitals in Delaware County, a county of over 500,000 people. Longer emergency department wait times, longer wait times for EMS.
The failure of their local politicians too.
Significant challenges getting appointments.
Minutes matter, whether you're having a stroke or a heart attack or you've been shot or stabbed or you can't breathe.
In June, the Pennsylvania House passed a bill, backed by Governor Josh Shapiro, that would ban sale-leaseback agreements and give the Attorney General new oversight powers over mergers and acquisitions involving hospitals and nursing homes.
Currently,
remember, Shapiro's a small hat, and he put his autograph on bombs to be sent to Russia and stuff.
The Attorney General's office finds out.
And he's a governor. I mean, he's doing shit in Pennsylvania. You shouldn't be worried about the Ukraine.
About it when we all do. There's provisions to look at it and decide, is this in the public interest?
The bill is now in the Republican-controlled Pennsylvania Senate.
And I hope lawmakers come together, Democrat and Republican, like the group we have assembled here today, and quickly pass this much-needed legislation, put it on my desk, and I will sign it into law.
This year, more than
that's all just bullshit.
A dozen bills have been filed across 9 states to address private equity in healthcare, including a ban on sale-leaseback transactions in Massachusetts and another restricting the corporatization of healthcare in Oregon. As corporate greed continues to infiltrate healthcare around the country at astonishing levels, we're left asking, how many more communities will pay the ultimate price?
Our health system is like a dangerous, windy road that's been engineered really poorly. And the legislation right now in Pennsylvania, if passed, that would be like putting guardrails up.
I blame private equity. I blame Prospect Medical. I blame Leonard Green. They came to Chester with this one intention in mind, was to take every bit of equity from us and to leave us bankrupt and to walk away.
As for Crozier, House Bill 1460 will be too late, but officials hope the hospital will eventually reopen in some form.
A hospital is where people go for care, and a hospital is where people...
Guys, this is a first world country collapsing on itself. Closing hospitals is a really big deal. There should be pretty much almost no reason for it.
Go to be cured.
The only reason to close a hospital is generally greed.
To be saved. And to think that a company can come in and treat us like any other kind of business, that when you're done with us, throw us away. They have left people devastated. People have died. People will continue to die. They sold out this poor community for money. And that's something that I think can never happen again.
Don't worry, though. We have RFK, and RFK will help, right? RFK can help. He's always helpful. Share the screen here with this. So we are going to do a quick, tiny smoke break and enjoy another beat from the wonderful Evil Eddie. This one I think was probably my favorite one. Or one of them. I don't really have a favorite, but I thought this one was dope.
Culture is the
little
operating
smoke break.
system. Invisible architecture. Silent instruction set. Running underneath civilization. culture is the operating system, quiet in the background while the world keeps spinning. Invisible patterns shaping every instinct. Most people never stop long enough to think. Fashion, language, fear, ambition, passed down like software with every tradition. Everybody sinking to the same transmission, calling it freedom while obeying the system. Children inherit unfinished code, learning what to value before they grow old. What to worship, who to blame, who deserves comfort, who deserves shame. Invisible lines, invisible walls, invisible pressure shaping us all. Invisible code inside every row, quietly directing the modern soul. Culture OS, running smooth through the mind. Invisible architecture hidden deep behind. Culture OS, every trend, every role, programming the rhythm of the modern soul. Culture OS, installed without consent. Most people never question the environment. Everybody downloading social permission, building personalities through repetition. Screens glowing soft in the night vision, turning human beings into algorithmic decisions. Everybody chasing digital affection, curated lifestyles for public inspection. Metrics replacing human connection, validation loops become addiction. News cycles weaponize attention, fear becomes profitable intervention. Outrage spreads faster than reflection. Division sold as audience retention. Consume, repeat, identity built from the social feed. Like, share, swipe, obey, another version every day. Culture OS, what run deep in the frame, telling people who to love and who to blame. Culture OS, quietly rewriting truth, manufacture reality injected through the youth. Culture OS, invisible command, most people never realize they've been programmed. Cities glowing cold in neon weather, everybody isolated together. Digital tribes forming forever, but nobody really understands each other. The rich sell dreams, the poor sell time. Everybody monetizing the human mind. Attention markets, dopamine streams. Human beings converted into data machines. But somewhere underneath the noise, there is still an authentic voice, buried under years of conditioning, waiting underneath the system mess.
All right, I am back now. And what I want to do is check in on this guy right here. I like to see what he says from time to time. So he's been doing a thing called Us and Them, and this is about white people. So Secret, my brothers and stuff. We'll see what he's talking about Whitey here.
Okay, so I've talked about America. I've talked about the West. I've talked about that culture. I've talked about that history. I've talked about that system. And I've talked about so-called white people, so-called whiteness, and so on. I've talked about you, but I haven't really talked to you, to so-called white people. Those people who, you know, those human beings who are categorized as white in your society and who categorize themselves and see themselves as belonging to that category, that artificial, fabricated, fake category. I mean, it is a fake category, but you treat it as real in your society, and that ends up making it real, like I said, because you put it into the mentality of the people who are in that category or whatever category, and the people who are excluded from that category. You treat people differently because of it. And now, because of that different treatment, there's different historical experiences because of that fake category. So I want to talk to you directly now, not about you, not at you, but to you, to so-called white people. Sometimes, honestly, I wish that I really wish that I was truly fluent in another language, because even speaking English, using the terms and using the words that are used in this type of a discussion, when you talk about so-called race and what have you, it almost makes it impossible to discuss it correctly, because all of the terms that you use in a discussion like this have connotations and have concepts that are attached to them. And those concepts and those connotations do nothing but muddy the discourse. So you end up bringing the misconceptions and bringing the falsehoods the moment you use the words, the moment you use the terminology. Again, words like white or black or race or what have you. I mean, just using the terms indirectly or implicitly validates those concepts. And the language is very limited. So the most that I can do is to add so-called at the beginning and, you know, at the front end, to try to avoid the inadvertent validation on the back end. It's exhausting, subhanAllah. It's exhausting to speak of these things with any degree of accuracy or any degree of precision using the English language. It's very difficult. It's a minefield. But yes, I want to talk to so-called white people. And I can do that in a way that most people who make the types of arguments that I do make, most people can't do it. And I can do it for a very specific reason, because I am classified as one of you. I'm classified as one of you in your category. I'm Irish German, as I've said many, many times. I mean, I've seen people in the comment section inventing a black grandfather for me, or saying that I'm so-called mixed or biracial or what have you. But no, I have no ancestors that did not come from Europe. I know where my family came from. I know when they came over to America. I know my lineage very well, alhamdulillah. So by the fabricated racial taxonomy of America, that in America they use to organize human beings, I am so-called white. I grew up inside of that experience, inside of the experience of being so-called white in America. Also,
so again, this guy, and I haven't seen this, but this guy is good at diagnosing some American problems and kind of like trashes white people a decent amount, believe it or not. So I kind of like want him to now too.
Being poor, which is not a fake category. Also being the son of divorced parents, which is not a fake category. And obviously belonging to those, poverty and being a child of a single mother, that impacted my experience in that country as well. But again, even those experiences, I was treated according to the so-called white category. I moved through that country inside that category. That's the parentheses around my experience in that country. So all of the treatment of that category that comes with that category, the assumptions, the permissions, and so forth, I know what that feels like from the inside, not as a tourist, not as a researcher, not theoretical, as a resident of that classification, you know. So I am from, and my ancestors are from, that continent that originated this whole culture from which the system emerged, the culture from which the system emerged. And my family, as far as we can trace back, they were all farmers and peasants. They were serfs. And obviously on the Irish side, they were colonized and brutalized by the British. But on both sides of my family, my ancestors worked the land. They were exactly what I talked about before. My ancestors were farm tools, just like what I talked about. And I have no doubt that my ancestors probably slept alongside their goats and their sheep and their pigs, just like what I said. Your family's history is my family's history. You know, I think that my parents were probably the first generation of my lineage who ever even became city dwellers. Our whole history, your whole history, is a lineage populated by very rough and struggling people. I come from the same thing that you come from, so-called white people. I mean, none of my people even knew that they were so-called white until they set foot in America. That's when you called them white, and then you told them that being white meant something. They entered the American caste system, as it were, where the haves and the have-nots and the should-haves and the should-have-nots was color-coded. But of course, they would have already been very deeply familiar with the whole concept of the haves and the have-nots. You understand? The idea that some people are eligible for abuse and exploitation. That's the whole history of Europe. That's the whole history. Except that it was usually on the basis of who could or who could not impose their will through brute force and coercion, not on the basis of complexion. You know, having a pale complexion didn't benefit my ancestors in Ireland in any way whatsoever, nor my ancestors in Germany in the countryside, under the control of different clans and whatnot, the church, rich landowners, and what have you. But for whatever reason, once they got to America, their complexion became a factor. It became a factor in their living conditions and their experience in that country. And again, everybody.
Well, I think once you have a melting pot of a whole bunch of people, people do kind of tend to gravitate towards their own type of people. And, you know, people do kind of all judge each other and file each other in different ways.
It just goes along.
Categorize each other in different ways. And a lot of that is race.
Along with it. Everybody just goes
or skin color and stuff.
Along with it, because they're not used to fairness or justice or humane standards or treatment or behavior or what have you. They're not used to that. We are used to eking out our existence, surviving amidst deprivation, exploitation, and the feudal system, misery and oppression. That's what we're used to, deprivation. Taking whatever you're given or taking whatever you can get. That's the history. So you see, there's a reflex acceptance of suffering. Doesn't matter if it's my suffering or your suffering. But if someone's got to suffer, I'd rather it be you than me. That's the mentality that we come from. You understand? There's no real concept of getting rid of suffering altogether. It just gets traded back and forth. Sometimes it's yours, sometimes it's mine. But someone's lack of suffering is always going to be paid for by someone else's suffering. That's a very deep belief based on centuries and centuries of lived experience in Europe. So like I say, the history of my family is going to be more or less the same as the history of almost any so-called white American's history, their family history. It's almost going to be the same. And my own individual experience in that country will be more or less the same as most of you so-called white people. It's going to be mostly the same. But Islam gave me a lens. It gave me a lens, as I said, like a
right here. Maybe it will be when he gets the paradigm change.
Witness position, a stance outside the category that I was placed in that society, and from which I could turn and look at it, and look at myself inside of it, and name what I saw. And what I saw was extraordinary in its ugliness, and that's a fact. That's an objective fact. And that's what you hear me talk about. That's what you hear me talk about. And I call it what it is. It's ugly, it's inhuman, it's violent, and it's primitive. That's what it is. But understand, I am not taking a holier than thou position. Okay?
Yeah, this might have not been the best one to watch for right now. Let's do one. Let's go back to the theme of what I was doing before. These women of malice.
A young woman sits in the courtroom.
The teen laughs in court, confident she won't be convicted. Then the judge speaks.
She's laughing, applying lipstick.
These have been kind of scary, but they've actually been kind of good too.
Checking herself in a compact mirror like she's getting ready for brunch with friends. Behind her, a family weeps for their murdered son. She doesn't seem to notice, or maybe she just
doesn't care at all. Look at these soulless eyes. Look at this.
Doesn't care. But when that jury foreman stands up and reads those words, "We find the defendant guilty."
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense.
Watch what happens to that smile. Watch it crumble. Watch reality hit her like a freight train she never saw coming. Because Alicia Andrews had convinced herself of something dangerous. She thought she was untouchable. Let me take you back to where this nightmare began. June 23rd, 2024, Tampa, Florida. The air is thick with summer heat.
God damn, it's another Florida. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why they're always Florida here.
And something else, something darker. Charles Jones, better known to the world as rapper Julio Fulio.
Charles Jones, look at this right here. Julio Fulio. Oh my God.
She belongs to the streets.
You gay. Is celebrating his 28th birthday.
Well.
Is it on 3, man? 1, 2, 3.
28 years old. That's all he got. He's hours away from his Jacksonville home, surrounded by friends, music pumping, drinks flowing. This should have been a night of joy. But here's the thing about Fulio. He lived his life in the crosshairs. He'd been shot at before, survived attacks that would have ended most people. His enemies were real.
Really? Fulio wasn't studying for medical school or didn't have his own business or something?
Not just rap lyrics.
You don't say. Look at this demon here. Just doing this 666 eat demon eye thing. Fuck this guy.
In social media beef, they wanted him dead. And on this night, he made a choice that sealed his fate.
Guys, these... oh my... 2 watches. Guys, 2 watches, I guarantee you he doesn't even know how to tell time on these. If we zoom into these watches, they're probably not even set to the same time. It's just all bullshit. Look at this. Just look at this right here. Oh. I think that's my favorite one. Here we go.
He posted his location online, told his followers to DM him for the party address.
You already got an address. Pull up.
Seagrip seems to know a little bit about this story. I'll put the StreamYard in right now too. So was he doing this drill rap thing? Because they do this thing called drill rap, where they'd be like, "Hey, I'm on 34th Street right now, 11 o'clock at night. Come on down. I'm gonna kill you, son. I'm gonna kill you." And they do like rap music about it. They were probably doing something like that. What an idiot! And he just put everyone's else life at danger too. Wow. Well.
Got the address, pull up. If you need the address, DM me right now. The pool party.
He can't even speak really.
Start at 5, 6 o'clock. DM me for the address or DM Fulio booking ESPN.
Everyone who wanted to find him could, including the people who wanted him gone.
Well,
think about that for a second. A man with known enemies, with a target already on his back, broadcasting exactly where he'd be.
Look at this.
Was it confidence? Recklessness? Or did some part of him believe that on his birthday, maybe just this once,
She belongs
he'd be
to the
safe?
streets.
If cases like this fascinate you, subscribe now to Women of Malice, because I publish new cases every week. The party starts at an Airbnb. It's packed, loud, alive with energy, but it doesn't.
Well. You think he's going to get out of this one alive?
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
Doesn't last long. Police shut it down. Too many people, too much noise, neighbors complaining. So Fulio and his crew do what young people do. They move the party, find another spot, keep the celebration going. But as they're packing up, as they're laughing and planning where to go next, they don't know that someone is watching. Someone is tracking their every move. Someone with a phone, a car, and deadly intentions. Enter Alicia Andrews, 21 years old. She's not in a gang. She's never pulled a trigger, but she's dating Isaiah Chance, known as Good Isaiah, and he's ATK, Anti-Terrell K. Fulio's gang, the Six Black Gang, and ATK, they're mortal enemies. This isn't movie drama. This is real blood, real bodies, real funerals. Years of violence between them, years of retaliation, an endless cycle of death. And on this night, Alicia becomes a crucial piece in the puzzle. Here's what makes this case so chilling. Alicia wasn't forced. She wasn't threatened. According to investigators, she volunteered, used her phone because it couldn't be traced back to the gang, used her car because it looked innocent.
She had like a train ran on her by that gang or something.
A young woman driving around Tampa on a Saturday night, nobody suspicious of that. She became the eyes and ears for the shooters, following Fulio from location to location, updating her boyfriend, sharing every turn, every stop, every moment. She was the tracker, the hunter helping other hunters close in on their prey.
You think they were using Boost Mobile? They're like, "Yo, where you at? Yo, I'm on 33rd Street. You kill that guy yet? Yeah, he did.
She identifies herself because you're not really going to be able to see her face, but she says, "Yeah, I'm in that car. That's me."
Subscribe now to Women of Malice to see how the story unfolds. The group moves to another location. They're trying to keep the party alive, but the vibe has changed. Maybe Fulio senses something. Maybe he doesn't. By the time they reach a hotel parking lot, it's late. They're tired. The night is winding down. And that's when it happens.
Yep. Those guys came in just like this. They came in just like this.
Terrorists win.
3 figures emerge from a vehicle. They don't hesitate. They don't announce themselves. They just open fire. The sound
What's going on, brother?
Screams, chaos, people running, ducking, trying to escape the bullets, tearing metal and flesh. Everyone in the car is hit. Blood everywhere. But Fulio is the one who doesn't survive. 28 years old, dead in a hotel parking lot on his birthday. His mother will never hear his voice again. His daughter will grow up without him. All because of a rivalry that consumed lives like kindling.
Well, let's be honest, the daughter was going to grow up without him anyway. Hey,
yeah.
mommy, where's daddy at?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this case
Uncle,
was insane.
Uncle Seagrip, where is my daddy at? Am I gonna see my daddy? And Seagrip goes,
Hell no, no, to the no. Yeah, just call me Uncle Daddy. I need to see what the mom. I need to see what his daughter's mother need to look like, because she might be able to call me Uncle Daddy.
Yeah.
But no. Now, and the funny thing about it is, him and this other dude, these two wannabe gangsters are going at each other, and they even make diss tracks. And those diss tracks were I actually listened to both of them. They were actually pretty good, but damn. And so it's like, and so, yeah, it's deep, and, and I don't know what all the details that this video will go into, and I'll try to add some color to it. But yeah,
no pun intended. Come on now, come on.
She belongs to the street. But yeah, one of the dudes, this was just so funny, even down to the police interrogations.
Fulio, he looks like a cartoon picture of a description of how you'd expect this guy to be.
Yeah, and it was insane. It was insane. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I know hopefully this video will show the dudes that got arrested. But you already know one of those dudes is going to be washing some dude's drawers.
Oh yeah, with them dreads. You do that ass flossing with that. Big dreads.
No, and
the investigator.
Yeah. Go ahead, keep playing.
You can finish what you're going to say.
No, I want to see what all the detail they go into.
Sure, yeah, we're only about 5 minutes. We're only about like a third in.
Moves fast. Police have surveillance footage, phone records, GPS data. They piece together the trail, and it leads straight to Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance. Both are arrested, along with Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy. The shooters, the planners, the accomplices. All of them now facing the justice system. But here's where the story takes a turn that'll make your blood boil. Because when Alicia Andrews walks into that courtroom, she's not crying. She's not remorseful. She's smiling.
Look at this.
Remember that smile? That casual, carefree demeanor in the face of a murder trial? Let me paint you the full picture of what happened in that courtroom, because it's something you won't forget. Alicia Andrews sits at the defense table, and she's treating this like it's a joke. She's giggling with her lawyers, applying makeup between testimonies, scrolling through her compact mirror, fixing her hair, checking her lipstick. The victim's family is right there, tears streaming down their faces as they hear how their son was hunted and killed. And she's putting on a show. Her lawyers join in, smirking, making faces at the prosecution. It's almost like they're all in on some private joke. Like this is reality TV, not a murder trial. But the judge? She's
like, if this was a white girl, she'd be like, what did I get myself into this time by deleting these people? Oh no.
Sees everything.
Okay, all right, let's bring Mr. Jimenez in. I need to stop right now, because you know what? You've been making faces throughout this entire trial. Yeah, you have been. And everything's been caught on video.
Defense comes out swinging with a narrative designed to pull heartstrings. They paint Alicia as the real victim here, a naive young woman who got swept up in her boyfriend's world. They claim she had no idea what was being planned that night, that she was manipulated.
I think she knows what was being planned and what was going to head down. This is what happened.
There was a firefight. Yeah, that
Caught
she
in
was just a
circumstances-
driver.
Yeah, no, she was just the driver for these two guys to do this to that Julio guy.
Shepherds we shall be, for thee, my Lord, for thee. Power hath descended forth from thy hand. Our feet may swiftly carry out thy command. So we shall flow a river forth to thee, and teeming with souls shall it ever be. Nomine Patri et Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
Is that Boondock Saints?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. She drove them around. This was Boondock Saints too.
There was a firefight!
Beyond her control.
So I'm getting used to this soundboard thing. So I'm adding in a lot, but just as practice.
Alicia Andrews is an individual, a young individual, a young woman.
This guy looks like a young defense attorney who has to try to pull something out of his ass. I almost think that's what he is.
She's well-spoken, she's mild-mannered, she's brave, she's strong, and she's a respectable.
And I think she was even knocked up.
She belongs to the streets.
That's what he says next, but
She belongs to the streets.
As you saw when she took the stand, she is not a gang member. She is not a gang associate. And that was clear from the evidence in this case, from every detective that testified. The Jacksonville sheriff's officers testified. She is not a gang member. She is not a gang associate.
she just hangs around with them all the time.
Davion's in the video. You see him smoking and puffing, and Alicia wants to say something, but she can't because she's afraid.
According to them, she was just a girlfriend trying to support her man, unaware that she was part of something deadly. They argue that her presence near these dangerous men doesn't equal participation, that being there doesn't mean guilt. She was cooperative with police from the start, they say.
Yep.
She's being scapegoated, painted with a brush too broad by prosecutors desperate for convictions.
I want to start from the beginning. Alicia Andrews.
Hell no, to the no, 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 hell to the no.
Was asked by her boyfriend to inquire about an Airbnb. He doesn't say to her, Alicia, I need you to figure out about an Airbnb so that we can go to Tampa and we can kill Julio. He doesn't say, Alicia, I need you to go and inquire about an Airbnb so that me and 3 of my friends and you can all go hang out in the Airbnb. He doesn't give her any extra information. She's not around them to know what they're doing, what they're planning, what they're discussing.
Yeah, no, he was like this. He was like this. Rent me an Airbnb, oh, please, you twat. How can you possibly make a decision for yourself?
Insane.
It's not. It's simple. That's on camera. Thank the detectives for bringing you that footage. Because if we didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you that. So Alicia Andrews comes to Sean Gathride's home. When she gets to Sean Gathride's home, she doesn't go inside and say hi to him or his parents or anyone who's inside. She doesn't do any of that. She waits in the car, like Isaiah Chance tells her to do. And you want to know why it's so obvious that Isaiah Chance was using Alicia Andrews? I mean, but for like the obvious detective realizing that in the interrogation. You don't know why it's so obvious outside of that? They don't need Alicia Andrews. They don't need her. You saw the certified hood in Rashad Murphy's iCloud dump, which has a bag sitting in front of him with a burner phone or a prepaid phone. These individuals know how to get prepaid phones. They go to the store, they buy them, like Rashad Murphy did at the Walmart, and they're untraceable. But Isaiah Chance put his girlfriend's phone up as tribute, and she had no idea what was going on. Over 12,000 GPS coordinates from her phone for that weekend. 12,000.
Subscribe now to Women of Malice as we get to the truth. But then the prosecution stands up and they bring receipts. Surveillance footage, multiple locations, multiple timestamps. There's Alicia's car following Julio's group across Tampa. There's her phone pinging off cell towers along the exact route Julio took. Deleted messages recovered from her device. Conversations with Isaiah Chance. Coordination. Updates. Real-time tracking.
The exhibit where Alicia, 17 years old, says that Julio needs to die.
Yep. Wow. See, can you imagine just saying that? It's absolutely crazy.
This is a certified hood classic.
Did you locate this text message?
In their view, her presence and actions were not accidental or coincidental.
This wasn't a woman caught by surprise. This was a woman who knew exactly
Yeah,
what she was
that's
doing.
what I think, Carla.
The prosecution
as
argues
well.
that she was integral to the attack, that without her...
Yeah, see, like, I'm not a gang. I just hang out with gang members all in my free time and let them bust in me and everything. I don't want to help them. You know, I'm just a sweet, innocent girl with a neck tattoo, dressed up as some like weird French chick. You know what I mean? This is a gangbuster 304 right here.
Yep.
The shooters might never have found their target.
She's a freak in the bed.
She was the scout, the lookout, the one who made it all possible. Now here's the question that splits people right down the middle. Does intent matter as much as action? If you help someone commit murder but claim you didn't know, does that absolve you?
Guilty of conspiring.
Such a woman thing. Well, I didn't intend to do it. Even though I said that I wanted him to die, I didn't intend to be responsible for helping them to happen. That's what she's actually saying.
With these 4 men.
Yep.
And guilty as a
This
principal
is a
of first-degree
certified
murder.
hood classic.
And folks.
And what about Julio himself? Yes, he had a criminal history. Yes, he was affiliated with a gang. But does that mean he deserved to be hunted down and killed on his birthday?
If he puts his address out there taunting people to have him come hunted down, then kind of, yeah. Not really, but that, you know, it didn't help anything that he's out there talking shit saying, hey, come to this address and try to kill me.
And
You know
also,
what I mean?
if you listen to the diss track, he's telling him, I'm gonna get you when I see you, I see you.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is a certified
That's what it
hood
said
classic.
too. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't know if it's a copyright strike to play it, but yeah. You know that song Fantasia, when I see you, he used that melody talking
When I
about
see you, I see
Yeah. Exactly. No, exactly. Yeah. So you didn't even have to listen to it to know what it's about.
yeah. It was about this.
Does his past justify his murder? These are the uncomfortable questions this case forces us to confront. Throughout the trial, Alicia maintains that smile, that disconnected, almost eerie composure. Is it a defense mechanism? Is she in denial? Or is it
She just
something
doesn't
darker?
care.
A genuine
she's a
lack of
sociopath.
remorse
Yeah,
for the role
yeah.
she played in taking a man's life.
That's
Hey,
what I
what's up,
wanted to
guys?
play some of these. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, you guys hear me? All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys see? This is the whole Julio case, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys see him on DJ Vlad? Where DJ Vlad asked him in his interview, he's like, "Dude, like, you got out of the hood. Why do you keep going back there?" You know, he's like, "This is gonna end badly for you." He's like, "No, no, man, I'm good. He's like, "Bro, you have money. You got a career. Why do you?" He's like, "I don't get why you keep going back there." He's like, "It'll be all right." I forget who did a video on it, but you can't show the footage because DJ Vlad copyright strikes everybody. But yeah, DJ Vlad told this guy, it's like, if you keep going back to your hood, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he didn't pay attention to him.
Yep.
But did you cover the Camilla Anthony case yet?
No, I didn't. Keyshawn Jones was talking about it.
Yeah.
But hang on a second. There's some ancient Chinese saying, "You do not go back and drink from the poison well, well, well."
life. Whatever it is.
Why do you keep doing this to? Why do you keep doing this to me, Snowboard?
But you know,
If you can see, you can see me right now. I'm literally leaned over, like all attentive, waiting for you to drop some wisdom. It's like, what the fuck?
No,
Yeah,
the
that
very
is
first
good wisdom.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
No, the very first part of this whole case was the main kid who he had like two parents. His dad was like a military guy, or like a principal. Like he had two parents. And, like the main guy who got convicted of the murder. There's no reason why he should have been like a banger. It's just the culture. You know what I'm saying? He had two
Yeah.
parents that were
You
like,
talking about one of the dudes who was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that you know is going to be tossing salad.
yeah, no,
Why are
seriously,
you
like there's no reason why he should have been part of this life other than the fact that he thought it was cool. And he was the one where they like either they told him his charges or whatever, and all of a sudden he's all crying like a bitch, you know. But it's like, bro, like you got to know if there's no reason why you should be around this element, because it only ends bad. And he had no excuse, just like my sister. We had two parents. We had a good childhood. We had a good upbringing, and she ended up being a dumbass, single mom. You know, it's just the culture.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Hey, really? Hey, just I gotta head out here in a second, but I'm on vacation. I stopped by my friend's parents' house because they have a big barbecue and everything, and my friend's sister's friends were there. So it was my friend's sister and then her boyfriend and then their friends. And I thought her boyfriend was like a pretty cool, like conservative white dude, right?
Yeah.
Because he talked about like Orange Man and all. So I showed him the well.
Yeah. Nice.
And
He didn't like it.
no, he was like, "Oh, that's going to mess up." He's a white guy. That's going to mess up. This is kind of making me uncomfortable. I said, "Oh, come on." I said,
Yeah, you say this.
Whoa.
Why are you gay?
I said, bro. I said, bro. I said, I am black. I said, and it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I said, because it's true. I said, so just not talking about something that's gonna not make it real.
Yeah.
I said, come on, man. You know, and I know, and everyone else here knows that there's truth to this stereotype. Come on, bro. Nug knows no bounds.
The way that you get it, bridge the gap to white people, though, if you did the well, but then you played this. Somehow it takes a sting out of it and it just becomes like zany.
I just don't get like what. I'm a black guy telling him that this is true, and he's arguing with me about it. I said, "This isn't real. Like, you're not honestly arguing with me about this, are you? Like, who are these? Like, I was like, dude, I am black, and I'm telling you this is true. What are you talking?"
Yeah. AJ goes and shows the shit to him, and he's like,
"Keep the change, you filthy animal."
I just don't understand it. I just don't. And that's the only thing that since I've known this guy that we disagreed on. He was just like, I don't know, man, this is kind of messed up. And yeah, but the whole Carmelo Anthony thing, good. I'm glad this kid got 25, 30 years. He should
I'm going to cover that one after. There's only like a few more minutes left in this because Keyshawn Jones was telling me to look into it and stuff, and I just haven't yet.
But
Sees it.
Just real quick, Snowboard, like, even if I swing at you, right? That doesn't give you the right to take a knife and stab me in the heart.
No, it doesn't.
And of course, all these civil rights assholes and Reverend Shabazz, Dr. Jenkins Jones comes out there trying to be, I'm the leader of the community. It's all about white people and blah blah blah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Please. That's what I think about that.
And the whole black part of YouTube that Pearl said that she's divorcing and never talking to again is all talking about like institutionalized this and systematic that. It's like, how about you just tell young black kids to not kill people? You know?
Yeah.
So,
But you know what they end up saying? Nug Nug ends up saying?
That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say.
The judge sees it. Everyone sees
But,
it.
all right, guys.
Subscribe now
I'm
to
out of here.
All right, see you. Have
Talk
a
to you
good
guys.
vacation.
Bye,
Yeah,
guys.
enjoy beach time and
Bye,
stuff.
guys.
Women of Malice because the verdict is about to drop. When the jury returns, the courtroom goes silent. You could hear a pin drop. The foreman stands, reads the verdict. We find the defendant, Alicia Andrews, guilty of manslaughter in the death of Charles Jones, known as Julio Fulio.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1, the defendant.
I think she may have thought that they all thought that Julio Fulio guy was like kind of a piece of shit guy who they didn't really care if they died or not. I think maybe that is why she was kind of some, made him seem of less value or something.
Mhm.
So, you know what I
No.
mean? Like a lot of, does that
Yeah.
make sense? Because I kind of
Yeah,
think
but-
maybe she thought that sort of like the people were going to be like, good, this guy's a piece of garbage anyways.
But this is my thought process. She thought that, I'm a pretty girl and there's no way they could think, this of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. Yeah.
And these Negroes, they took advantage of my my kind nature. I was in love and I was just right.
Yep. Yeah. Terrorists win. That's what happened somehow. Okay.
Is guilty of manslaughter, a lesser included offense.
And in that moment, everything changes. That smile? Gone. The laughter? Dead. Her face crumbles. Reality crashes into her like she's been hit by a truck. The weight of what she's done, what she's lost, what her future now holds, it all hits her at once. Her lawyers aren't laughing anymore either. The performance is over. The consequences are real. Alicia Andrews is the only defendant so far whose trial has concluded. She's awaiting sentencing, scheduled for December 8th, 2025. She could face years, potentially decades behind bars. But her co-defendants? They're still waiting. Isaiah Chance, the boyfriend who brought her into this nightmare, Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy, alleged shooter.
So which one
right here?
And the next guy, he like I said,
Made the
two-parent household, good life, educated, and he allowed himself to get dragged into this foolishness.
Yeah.
Not him, the guy after him.
This guy, yeah, it's hard to pause
To this nightmare. Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy.
That guy. Yeah. Now, which one of them do you think got dick sucking lips?
And Davion Murphy,
I don't know. I'd say the second guy, Davion.
the alleged shooters, all of them are being
Davion's going to be a pretty boy in there.
held without bond.
And he was the one that was crying. He was the one that was crying. Because they of course they got life, and so he was the one that crying. And oh my goodness, you should see the video. I went to this play, and then I'll see if I can find this other video for you to play when because after they was found guilty, then it goes into like the death penalty phase, and should they get death or life? And when you hear the argument on why they should get life, it's going to make you shake your head. And of course, the black community wanted to get up in an uproar. I'll see if I can find the video, because Anton Daniels did a real good breakdown of it. If I'm trying to find the video and post it in the private chat.
Okay.
Because that is definitely very interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of this or know
Is a
about it.
substantial probability
Or
that
that Carmelo Anthony one.
all three defendants committed the dangerous crimes that they are charged with.
The courts view them as too dangerous to release. The risk of more violence, more retaliation is too high. Their trials are tentatively set for April 2026. Tentatively, because these things drag on. Pre-trial motions, depositions, discovery, evidence review. It's a slow, grinding process.
With a bunch of small hats just taking money along that whole way.
And prosecutors are still deciding whether to pursue the death penalty for the defendants facing first-degree murder charges. The death penalty. That's how
Look at that, just sitting there, their legs swinging, being a
serious this
304.
is. That's the level of justice the state is considering. Multiple suspects, gang ties, surveillance evidence, phone records, GPS data. These trials will be long, they'll be complicated, they'll be emotionally devastating for everyone connected to Fulio's life.
That is Mr. Gaithright walking out with a large duffel bag. And Isaiah Chance walking out.
But here's the truth that sits heavy in all of this. A man lost his life on what should have been a day of celebration. His mother lost his son, his daughter lost his father, and no verdict, no sentence, no amount of prison time will ever bring him back. Whether justice is truly served remains to be seen. The system will do what the system does. But the damage is done, the lives are lost, and the cycle of violence, it keeps spinning. Subscribe now to Women of Malice and let me know what aspect of this case disturbed you most in the comments section. Was it Alicia's behavior in court? The senseless loss of life?
Yeah, and Snowboard, jump into the private chat. I put in the YouTube short that you have to play.
Yeah, I'm going to it right now, yeah.
We can't hear your sound.
Okay.
I think the volume, like in the upper corner of the YouTube video.
No, StreamYards had a issue. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just couldn't hear the
It said
sound of the
StreamYard
video.
had issue. Yeah, so let me. I think I just did the shit too fast.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The defense team still got their publicity, and just so you know, that they got her defense team was able to get that judge replaced because that judge who was like not feeling her smiling and giggling and laughing and all that stuff,
As he should have been.
Yeah, and
You
so
should
they
have
knew.
been saying, "What? Have some decorum, you 304." He should have been pissed about that.
And so they were able to get that judge replaced with another judge because I think they knew that judge was going
Gonna cook
to
her.
fist
Yeah.
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was going to fist her good.
Yeah.
And I think
She's going to be getting fisted more in the future. In her
Well,
future
yeah.
too. Yeah.
I think
She's
she
gonna
got
get
less than 2
a
decades.
fistful of justice.
But the video still. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll see.
There's still more to play on this.
Yeah, the video hasn't played yet.
Yeah.
The YouTube short, but
Hey, do you think he calls himself a fistal conservative? Oh.
if that link doesn't work, I'm gonna send you a long. Okay, yeah. And so let's see if the volume plays.
No, the volume should play on fine on all of them. I don't. That was just like a small glitch from
Okay.
StreamYards. Let's complete this one though, because this one's only like halfway.
Yeah, I can't hear the sound. Can you guys hear the sound from the video that Snowboard's playing?
Let me refresh it.
Do me a favor, try the other link.
Yeah, because this sound does work. Sure. Let me try the other one. This working?
Hold on, let me see.
Couldn't hear. They're saying they can't hear. Okay. Let me try this one here instead.
Okay, and so I'm gonna see.
one here instead.
Okay, so let me see.
One here instead.
Okay, so let me see. Yeah, so I'm playing the video on I'm playing your channel on my cell phone, and I'm not hearing the Cat Williams video that you're playing now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I'm playing the video.
Let me try it. Let me try it now.
Okay.
Did that work?
That's weird because that other video, a YouTube video you were playing, because that sound we could hear that sound loud and clear, but for some strange reason, I don't know.
Let me try this one here.
Yeah, that's not playing either. You may have to refresh
I might
or
just
like that.
Yeah, I might even just call it a night actually, because it's almost midnight.
Okay.
So I think I might do that actually.
Oh, snap. So
It's almost
do is,
midnight, and I've been staying up late doing these. I'll still do them more each day, but I might just call it a night because I think StreamYard's had some type of issue.
okay. So I will post the link to that video into the chat. So guys, this is the YouTube short of that video in which that prison administrator, he describes what life in prison means and how they want him to have life because he's young, he's healthy, they need that sweat equity. And they're going to put him to work, and he's going to be working 60 hours a week.
Wow.
And if he doesn't work, how he won't have any privileges. And if he doesn't cooperate and go in the program, he's pretty much is going to get relegated. He'll get moved up until he get classified as like unruly or, just max, in which he'll be in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. So you're either going to work 60 hours a week or you're going to be solitary confinement.
And that 60 hours of work is going to be just out like a license plate making thing that's like boring
license
as shit.
plate,
But it's going to be boring
cooking,
as hell. Yeah.
Cooking. They use the prisoners for everything, and that they have an aging prison population, so they need more young, strong men so they can start training them. And so he said, we're going to put them to work. And I'm just thinking, and mind you, it's no pay. And if you don't work, you don't get TV, you don't get commissary. Of course, you don't get paid for the work. So at least in some prisons, you get like 60 cents.
Yeah.
60 cents a day. You don't get nothing.
Yeah.
You get no commentary, you get no commissary. You can't have no money in a book, no phone privileges, no visitation. And so you either work, or you're just, it's insane. And I think this is something, and then my issue with it was, of course, they see this, and I'm doing air quotes, this handsome young man, because it's like the what's the healthcare guy, the Manzoli healthcare guy. If you look pretty to these females out here, they want to ride for you. And so, so it's insane. And I think they really do. I hope that video goes more viral on what life in prison really is. And, that you literally just threw your life away for nothing. And you're going to spend the rest of your life working 60-hour weeks. hard labor.
Yeah.
On top of, being a
Dealing
dick
with
dodger.
nug-nugs and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
Trying to duck and dodge,
Yeah,
penis.
dive, duck, dodge, yeah. All that. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's insane your whole life, and oh my goodness, I don't even want to think about it. So I wish they
Well,
they
they
goes more
need to
viral.
do more scared straight stuff, but they need to do like what do you think about doing the caning to people?
Oh yeah,
I kind of think that's not the worst thing because that's it's gonna get the caning you get is gonna be way worse pain than you feel of those other people who have to work 60 hours a week of hard labor and they're cooked. The short-term pain will really help change some behavior.
Yeah, no, I think that would be,
and that includes like if I'm not just saying, oh, we got to cane these 304s. No, if I do something really stupid, that I have to deal, like I could get caned too. That's the only way you can suggest it is if that happens.
But the people here are so damn soft that they'll start hollering, it's a violation of the 8th Amendment. It's a violation of the 8th Amendment. It's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
And
it's the only way these girls can come, half of them, is they're so damaged.
But yet, when people be getting 10, 20, $30 million bail, you don't hear much about that. But
exactly,
but still,
that's what I'm saying. It kind of evens the playing field a little bit, and it's quicker justice. A little bit. It kind of just deals with a lot of it right then, so it's a lot less paperwork, a lot less bullshit, a lot less court appearances, a lot less
if
things
did,
like that. You know what I mean? It kind of just gets to the point right there.
Look, why do you think those countries that have those public canons have some of the lowest crime rates?
Yeah, it works.
And especially when it comes to the petty crimes and stuff like that. What we call theft and all this other crazy stuff, because they do public canons.
Yeah.
And it is not pleasant when they have health professionals on site.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Yeah.
I listened to one person, this one American who got caned, and he described it as one of the worst things he ever experienced in his entire life, and he would never do it again. And he has not taken his butt back there ever since. And so, I think we should have learned our lesson from when California decriminalized so much crazy stuff, thinking that, it's disproportionate policing. But all that they end up doing was seeing crime increase and businesses leave, destroying their tax base and the ancillary businesses that depended on the traffic of those businesses. So, this whole soft on crime, and I understand second chances and everything along those lines, but when you're dealing with habitual criminals, and I know a lot of this stuff isn't prescriptive because there's so many ills, and I know you can't take your anecdotal experience and apply it to the broader public, but as a lot of I grew up in a housing project, and as a matter of fact, one of the worst housing projects in Philadelphia. And I grew up during the 80s crack epidemic and everything along those lines. And, I saw firsthand, as I started, becoming more attracted to women and wanting to date them and talk to them and do things with them, they were navigating towards, or they were going for, the quote unquote drug dealers, or my fault, the sidewalk street pharmaceutical sales rep. And so they were leaning more and more towards them because of that fast money. And, I was focused on school, getting my education, because I saw that as my way out of my situation. I couldn't sing. I couldn't play ball. But I had more than 2 brain cells rubbing together. And so as long as we keep, showing that, degeneracy can get you a bag, we're going to still have people pursuing that. But yeah, I really do think they really do need to start showing more of these sentences and seeing just what the reality of what life in prison is.
Yeah. And it doesn't rehabilitate anybody. They're just gonna come out more educated and being like a prisoner or scumbag. So you really don't want to send people to it, to be honest. That's how they end. They just end up a lot worse. Some people do get reformed and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
some do, but en masse, it's not the greatest place because you're just surrounding yourself with.
Yep, you just become a smarter, better criminal.
Yeah, exactly. And you get a pat on the back for being more like ruthless too.
But on top of that, your opportunities are severely reduced. Because who wants to hire an ex-con? There's a stigmatism that, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but but who wants to hire an ex-con? How comfortable would you be hiring?
It's not really that there's Seagrip. It's not really that there's so much of a stigmatism. It's more of an enigma. Come on now.
Yeah, but with that being said, the money and the resources aren't there for rehabilitation. And then on top of that, deep down inside, people want punishment. How do you balance punishment with rehabilitation?
Yeah.
It's challenging. And when you think about the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment, keep in mind, it's vague. I understand our forefathers, they made it vague for a reason so that it could evolve with the times. But right now, there's a saying, soft times make soft men.
If you're vague, you're a fag.
But yeah, definitely chat. Listen to that. And to me, just listening to that prison administrator talk about what life in prison, what's in store for you. Oh,
terrible.
Yeah. When you get a chance to check it out, Snowbird, you'll see, like you'll be like, damn, just put the needle in me and call it a day.
Oh yeah, no, I already would do that. Yeah.
My life's over already.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would do. I don't want to live in something like that, to be honest. So, anyways, thanks guys for showing up. I'm not gonna worry about trying to fix this sound issue. I'm trying to end these before midnight now because I've been kind of going pretty late on them, which is it's fun and that's good. But I don't want to be too drained from my other jobs and stuff. So, thanks a lot, and we're gonna keep hammering these down. We're probably going to be at 37K tomorrow. We're just going to keep hammering them down, and I'm almost to where I can get monetized for views because they've kind of made it difficult. I had to remove some videos and stuff like that, but all in all, it's all going awesome. And once I get that 4,000 watch hours and I get paid for the views, then I can start doing some shows where I don't have to be a whore and stay on as long and up as late. But we can do like a 45-minute segment, but make it, more, drill it down more instead of create more instead of reacting. I have to do kind of a lot of reaction stuff, which is cool. And I do like doing that, but then we can create more. But I need to get the view hours is the thing. I just kind of had to come out and be YouTube's little hoe. So, but it's paying off. So the subscribers just keep going up, and all that's good. So thanks for coming out, guys. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, Snowboard. You take care.
Yeah,
Brother.
you too. Thanks, buddy.